Welcome, friends of Slopestyle, and welcome the viewers of Red Bull TV. Welcome to one of the most beautiful places on the planet, Les Alpes, France, and we are here for stop number 2 on the Crankworx series, day number 3 of competition, and today we have in store for you the best of the best, the much anticipated slopestyle competition. I've got the best seat in the house, and I am joined by two guys that know a thing or two about mountain biking. To my right is Tristan Merrick, and to my left, legendary Cam McCall. And Tristan, you've had a chance to be out on the course, watching practice. What can we expect today?
It's been a big week, what has unfolded out there, the tricks, what's been going on in the progression. It was just practice. I feel like I have the best seat in the house watching practice, but don't take it from me. Take it from the guy that was riding practice this morning, Cam.
Yeah, I had a chance to gear up and get a couple laps in, and like you said, they were throwing down so huge in practice, and it's already evident that it's going to be all killer, no filler out there. The course is flowy. It's great to ride and have fun on, but when you're trying to remember 12 tricks and do them all in a row when it counts, man, that's going to be the name of the game. That's going to be the struggle these guys are tackling today. And I can't wait to see who can deal with the conditions, the nerves, and put a run together.
Well, a day of drama is set for us. That is coming up shortly, and you couldn't ask for a better setting for a slopestyle competition. Phenomenal. Les Alpes, France.
Cam, it's been a hard one here this week to keep our eyes on what's going on with the competition, because look at the backdrop here. We're in Les Alpes, we're in the Alps, and that is the scenery. That is what we're looking at.
Yeah, this place is ridiculous. It's surreal when you look around. It looks fake. The mountains are so tall. This is the mullet of locations. If a mullet is business up front, party in the back, we got winter up top, summer down below, something truly for everyone.
It is, again, you're coming down into the valley. It is green, it is lush. But wait, we've got one of the best bike parks in the world here. Single track everywhere, endless kilometers. But again, that is your backdrop. That is where you can take your pictures and check out everything here.
And I've never heard a place be described as the mullet of competition, Cam. You may have a new hairstyle. So that's Les Alpes, France, and so much has happened over the last couple days. This is the third day, a lot of drama-filled competition. You guys have been out on the course, so why don't you catch us up?
We started the big week here with the European whip-off, but we saw some classic old-school moves right out of the back there.
Yeah, whip-off is such a crowd favorite. It's all about kicking your bike out sideways as far as you can get it and still being able to bring it back straight. But people like to have fun with it. We saw heel clickers, backflips, just a bunch of fun.
We saw the previous champions, Casey Brown, Bernardo Cruz, Finn Isles, so many big names, and then DSNS. It was all about that the next day.
It was all about Great Britain, actually. Finals was Bernard Kerr and Sam Reynolds, and it was a really tight race between those two guys.
Yeah, different Corsair, big tricks. Look at Reynolds, just a big smile. Kerr taking his first win at here Crankworx, Les Alpes. And then next up, the nighttime event, Pump Track. That is where it is all about ducking and weaving and keeping that momentum going.
Yeah, Pump Track kind of starts out as a friendly competition, but as the brackets go on into the night hours, people want to spray that champagne, and it's cutthroat.
Yeah, see them spraying down there. ACC taking that. And, well, nothing tastes better at the end of the day.
Well, you know, guys, it's so impressive to be on the sidelines and watch these guys do their tricks. My jaw's always landing on the ground. But for you at home, to get an athlete's perspective of them going down the course, we have Sam Pilgrim. We strapped a GoPro onto him, and this is what it looked like.
Yo, I'm Sam Pilgrim. I'm in Les Alpes for Crankworx Europe, and this is the GoPro course preview. Check it out. Into the first feature, skinny drop, whoa! Then into the berm, first jump on course, no hander, oh yeah. 360 out, nice. 360 the hip. Backflip on the jump, over the roller, slowing down. Into the huge road gap, really scary. Big jump, also very scary. Then we got the spine for the tail whip, oh yeah. Into the whale tail, really big feature, massive drop. Into the jump with a bar spin, oh yeah. Round the berm, roller, final step down, backflip, yeah. Woo! Yo, that was the GoPro course preview on the Crankworx Europe course in Les Alpes. I'm Sam Pilgrim, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you to Sam Pilgrim for showing all of us what it is like to go down this course. 12 trickable features. Unbelievable. So I don't need to tell any of you at home to get on your Instagram or your Facebook or social media and hashtag, but I will tell you the hashtags. Hashtags for this event, hashtag L2A, hashtag L2A forever. Is that correct?
That is
You may
correct.
know better than me.
Wow. I mean, the youth of today, L2A forever, Crankworx, and of course, Red Bull TV. Just a few of the, the important ones, but you guys can add your own flair on there. Hashtag best roommate ever this week.
You know what, I think, judging by what we're seeing on the course so far in slopestyle, they're going to have to be hashtagging all killer, no filler. That's why we're going to see that one thrown out there before the end of the day.
I want to know why you hashtagged him as the best roommate ever.
We've had a great week. It's been a fun week here.
Impossible, because you're the best roommate ever.
You're too kind, Cam. You're too kind.
All right, enough of this.
Snoring.
We also have the Triple Crown as one of the awards here at Crankworx. Cam, you know a little bit about this. Why don't you tell us some more?
Well, this year, 2015, we see the Crankworx World Tour with a really exciting event, the Slopestyle Triple Crown. The first time we've ever seen this, it is a new epitome of the sport, and we started all off in New Zealand in the beautiful town of Rotorua. The man with the plan there was none other than Brett Rheeder. He's been derivative for a couple years and kind of following, but he showed that he's leading the charge this year coming into the 2015 season with a commanding victory in Rotorua. He said before that event that he wanted to just make sure that he stopped somebody from winning the Triple Crown, but now he's the man to beat, and there's a whole laundry list of riders trying to stop him. One of those riders was the guy who was victorious in L2A last year, Anthony Messere. After being on the tour for quite a few years, having some struggles, but being on the podium once, he put it all together and was on top of the podium in L2A. Nikolai Rogakin, he was a BMX prodigy in his younger years, started out when he was about 8 years old, and it's exciting to see him transferring into the mountain bike world now. He's got a more well-rounded bag of tricks this year, and he's definitely one guy to beat. Thomas Genon, the king of consistency. He's always adding new tricks to his bag, and if anybody happens to push himself too far, he's the guy sitting there ready to pick up the scraps. But we got to talk about Brandon Semenuk. He is always the man to beat, never off of his game, doesn't even consider going for second place, third place. He's always got his eyes on that top spot, and he's always secretly planning something new that nobody knew he had. Who's going to be spraying the champagne this year? It was Brett Rheeder and Rotorua. I can't wait to see who's going to be in L2A, and then the granddaddy of them all will finish things off in Whistler, British Columbia next month.
In horse racing, the Triple Crown is considered the greatest accomplishment. It is now part of mountain biking, and right now, Brett Rheeder is our current leader, trying to go for that unbelievable Triple Crown. It's a huge feat, and you got a chance to talk to Brett earlier. Where is his mind at?
His mind is at he's quite relaxed, all things considered, but he is knowing what is at stake. There is a lot of pressure, and it's put onto him by himself. But rather than me tell you guys about it, let's hear what he had to say earlier. So, Brett, let's rewind the clock back to stop number one on that Crankworx World Tour. And you said something you're probably biting your words on a little bit now. You wanted to make sure nobody else won this Triple Crown. Well, you got your wish. You are in the lead for the Triple Crown right now, and the only person that can technically go for it. What are you feeling now at stop two?
I know. It's crazy. I got myself in this position now, and I think it's going to be the hardest thing ever to keep going. It's not like my number one goal here. Like I just, at the end of the day, I just want to do my run, make it to the bottom, do the best that I personally can, and then hopefully that it is what it takes, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, that is what it takes, but I mean, do you feel any sort of do you understand maybe what the magnitude is yet, or is it because it's the first year of this title, the Triple Crown, or is it just, it's Crankworx, it's going to be big, and you want your name on that title at the end of the year?
Yeah, I know. It's going to be so hard. I know the magnitude of it. The battle for first place is insane. Even just riding practice with everyone. It could be anyone's day, depending on how good we do and if we can pull it together. So, yeah, I've practiced a lot. I've basically done my run in bits and pieces, and now I just got to link it together.
Well, we want to wish you the best of luck in that one. You got your wish. You are in the lead for the Triple Crown. It's now all up to you, and you can just take the approach. It's another contest, but it is history in the making here at Les Deux Alpes. Well, as you guys can see, he is very, he let the curtain down. He let the curtain down, really let his emotions out, and showing exactly what is at stake here, Cam. And you've competed against him quite a bit. What do you take from that in terms of how he's feeling here this weekend?
It's really good that he's able to talk through that. There's a lot of emotions going on right now, being in such a high-pressure situation. But the fact that he's riding so well right now means that he's truly in control of his destiny. The only person who can win it today is him, and he can also lose it for himself. But there's a bunch of other people, 19 other guys out there who are just gunning for him. He's got a bullseye on his back, but he's got all the right thought processes to pull it off.
Too early to place a bet here today, or what?
Yeah, man, this course is always something that's very unpredictable, so you wouldn't be a smart man to be a betting man out here, but you'd be a dumb man to not bet on Brett Rheeder or Brandon Semenuk.
Well, we've heard from Rheeder. Let's go touch base here with Tina. She's actually with somebody who's very important that is going to help decide how things are going to unfold here later on this afternoon.
Thanks, Tristan. I know you know a thing or two about mountain biking and especially that technology, but I bet you anything Colin Duncan can beat you in the judging department. Colin has been judging Crankworx since the very beginning. Colin, you know what you're doing. But when you watch these competitions, someone like Brandon Semenuk, who is pushing it, and they do something like a cork 720 with a combination trick and might have a slight slip up, how do you guys judge that?
Well, today and every day at Crankworx, we judge on an overall impression format. So we take the entire run and we watch it from top to bottom, and we'll give a score out of 100. Now, if there is a little slip up, we have a deduction scale where we will be taking points off of the said perfect run, which can be up to 40 points out of 100 for a full bail, and then downwards to maybe 2 points for or 20 points for a pedal slip.
So still rewarding progression with that.
Of course, like with a run with a cork 7 in it and everything else being perfect, you could be well into the 90s, but having a crash or a little slip would take off maybe 20, for a pedal slip, maybe 20 points, so then you're down a little bit, but you could still be higher than a lot of the other average runs in the field.
Wow, rewarding progression. You have a big job to do today. Well, that's the fine details in judging. Cam, why don't you tell us about the big picture?
Thank you, Tina. Wow, that was the nitty-gritty. That is how progression is getting judged here. But Cam, let's break down big picture here. Let's see what exactly is going to take for you guys and the athletes out there.
Well, it's crazy. Slopestyle is an ever-evolving form of competition, which means the riders are always having to bob and weave and change their strategy to win an event.
Yeah, the judges having to progress along with the riders. It's not a one-man show here. It takes two of those to tango here and make it happen with our athletes, with the sport, and with the big tricks.
I would not want to be one of those judges. The riders are nervous, but the judges got to be as well.
So amplitude, Cam, what is that?
Well, amplitude is how high you go. One guy who really embodies this is Anthony Messere. The distance between the top of the ramp and where he's flying is really high, and he's like a firework up there in the sky.
And so Messere going big, but degree of difficulty. Again, you have to have the big tricks, right?
Yeah, the guy who's got this figured out is Nikolai Rogakin. He comes from a BMX background. For the last couple of years, he's been a slopestyle sensation, turning into one of the most consistent guys doing tricks that nobody else wants to try.
Execution. You need to have a master's, a PhD in this, don't you, nowadays?
Well, the man with the PhD is Brandon Semenuk. He has disguised aggression, doing really difficult tricks with making it look effortless.
And what about overall impression? That is where you need to bring it all together to have the complete package.
Everything matters, especially now. There's no room for filler tricks. And the guy who's coming up leading the charge this year, he's not biting at anybody's heels anymore. Everybody's chasing him. It's Brett Rheeder.
Oh, man, again, he is setting the bar. He is the guy that is leading the charge for all of our athletes here. Wow, Cam, class has been in session today. We're learning so much, and we haven't even seen the first rider drop.
Absolutely. You know, let's play that game we've been playing all week, in, out, on the bubble. Let's diagnose what we're going to see here.
Well, what is going to be in? I mean, we get to pick these things. What do you think is in?
In, I'm going to say 720. 5 out of the last 6 Crankworx podium runs had that trick, so it's 2015. You got to have it.
Man, that is crazy. That is the level that we are at now. Out, though, straighters. You can't miss a trick. You got to trick every feature. Otherwise, you're not even going to get in the top 5. Not even in the top 10, for that matter.
Absolutely. All killer, no filler. and on that point, on the bubble, would be doing your showstopper trick on the perfect banger trick jump. People are taking those tricks at unexpected places, and that's how you get the top scores.
Yeah, you can't wait to that last jump anymore. It needs to be coming out on the first jump. Otherwise, that is all you guys are going to get. Well, let's break things down even more to you guys. So 20 riders, they get 2 runs.
Yeah, pretty easy format, easy to wrap your head around. 20 of the best slopestyle riders in the world. They get 2 runs, throw out the worst, save the best, and it's scored out of 100 points. So you're going for that perfect score of 100, and people aren't even doing safety runs anymore. Everybody's going for the jugular in both 2 runs, so it's a different game, and that just makes a better show for us to watch.
Going for the throat right away if you want to get into that top 3 at the end of the day. That is what it's going to take for our riders. That's going to take for all of our athletes here. All right, we're moments away from seeing our riders drop in. Time to make your picks at home. Cam, time to make your pick. I'm going to make my pick as well. We're live right now on Red Bull TV. And one thing you guys can pick on there while it's live is something completely new this year. It's the event analyzer. You can go on there. You can choose your riders. As you can see the demo here, you can go into exactly where you want to be. Oh, I want to see Brandon Semenuk. Okay, well, you can check in exactly what's going on.
I'm actually really excited about this. It's killer. Sometimes you don't have a whole hour to sit down and watch the entire show, but you want to see the highlights. You can share them to your friends on social media, redirect them to the full replay so everybody gets a taste of the action.
Exactly. This is how you get away with maybe checking out things at work here. You can stay up to date, watch the event, but still stay productive out there at the job. Well, you saw it there, Cam. That's a perfect way. Maybe if you're sleeping in right now, maybe you're missing the start of our broadcast, well, you can look at it later on online on Red Bull TV.
You got to watch it. Even if your alarm didn't go off, you can't miss Les Deux Alpes Crankworx Slopestyle.
It's part of the Triple Crown, man. You didn't miss Rotorua. Now we're at stop number 2. And, of course, we still have that other stop later on in the summer. But today, we are in France. It is a beautiful afternoon here. It is sunny. It is warm. But one thing that happens when it's sunny and warm in the Alps is we get a little bit of wind. Cam, what is that wind going to do for us here?
It's true. It wouldn't be Crankworx Slopestyle and Les Deux Alpes without a little bit of weather, a little bit of drama. There's always drama surrounding this event, and today's no different. The wind came up real heavy right when we were about ready to start these first runs, so we're on a little bit of a hold right now. The riders just kind of waiting it out, and the way the weather works here is it's calm in the morning, it's windy in the middle of the day, and then it calms down again toward the late afternoon, so we're keeping our fingers crossed that's what's going to happen. It seems to be dying down a little bit right here, so it's looking like it's going in the right direction.
Well, for more on the weather, let's go down to Tina, the 3rd member of our announcing team here today.
And you guys, that's just part of doing events outdoors, is you have to deal with weather, and today it is the wind. The good news is it is sunny and very nice out here. But Nikolai, walk us through the steps from the athlete's perspective, from your guys' perspective, of what led you to deciding to hold off on competition.
Well, we've had practice all day and the conditions were pretty good, but about an hour ago the wind really picked up and we tried to ride through it, but more crashes happened in that hour than in all the practices the whole weekend, so we decided it was just a bit too dangerous for now, and we want to put on an amazing show, and in this wind we can't do it, so we're trying to hold off, and hopefully the conditions clear up and we'll go for it.
Yeah, and you guys can see behind me the athletes, the bikes, they're waiting for the wind to hold off. Also, the good news is there is tons of light here in Les Deux Alpes, France, almost until like 10 o'clock tonight. So at one point we will get this event off. We're just kind of waiting for the wind at this point, guys.
Thank you very much, Tina. Does that mean we're going to have to wait till 10 o'clock tonight, Cam?
I don't think we'll have to wait that long. I remember something similar happening last year. We were sitting up at the top and the end of practice was getting real windy, but then the sun started getting a little bit lower and the wind started to die down a little bit, and we had an amazing final out here last year.
Is it weird? You're in a different seat this year. Last year, you were hanging out. You would be in the same situation as the riders. Instead, you're sitting next to me in the booth here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be in the booth next year. I competed in this event for a long time, and I had a blast. But, you know, the time comes to move on at some point for everybody, and I'm such a huge fan of the sport. I'm just blessed with the opportunity to sit here and call the shots with you.
Well, we're stoked to have you here. But let's take a step back right now. Let's rewind the clock, and let's check out exactly how things unfolded last year in Crankworx Les Deux Alpes in the year 2014.
inches.
That is our recap from last year's Crankworx Les des Alpes. So again, the wind on a bit of a course hold right now. We do have a couple riders that are up at top right now. They are just maybe waiting to drop in here. We're gonna send a couple, what do we call it, guinea pigs, Cam?
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to have a couple guineas up there. Let's see who we got. Looks like maybe Carson Storch and Brett Rheeder. You know, send them down, have them report back. If it was too windy, maybe we hold a little more. If it felt good, then we might be getting started here pretty soon.
Well, we've seen Brett step up in the past, right? He's no stranger to that, but Carson Storch, he's the guy that's going to set it off for us.
This is awesome that Carson's dropping in to be the guinea pig and test out the conditions right now. I live in the same town as him these days, and he's the guinea pig for us when we're out riding because he's on a super high level right now, so he's the guy who gets to try stuff first. And in the entire 20-rider field here, he's the first one to drop in and test the wind.
Yeah, so again, this is not judged, folks. For you guys tuning in right now, this is not a judged run. This is just the riders trying to decide, is it go time? Do we pull it? Do we put it into drive? Do we go on the green light here? So Carson is just testing everything out to make sure, see if he's comfortable with things. And Cam, this is a guinea pig. This is a tester run in the wind.
Yeah, you know, if this was a judged run, we'd be, you know, pretty excited. He's putting together a really solid package here on this guinea pig test run. And I know he's got more on that jump, but that just goes to show he's just testing the speed, but it might be a little bit of tactic as well. He's getting an extra practice run over everybody else.
Yeah, again, he's riding, you know, most of the riders, I'd say they're riding bumped and bruised. Practice is a long thing, but he actually tore open his elbow earlier on today. They're having a little of a spill, isn't he?
These guys are gladiators. You got to really push through all of the pain, all the nerves, all the less than desirable conditions. I mean, if you look at the trees, you can see they're wiggling pretty good. But a crazy thing happens when you're a rider like Carson Storch and you got your head in the right place and you really want to try to make a go at it, is when the adrenaline starts flowing, all these people are here. You know, the contest is getting close to happening. Sometimes you can ignore some of those factors that could be inhibiting, and hopefully that's what we see happen.
Well, you can see there, we've got the little weather graphic in the corner, temperature 26 degrees, but we got the wind, it's coming at about 25K, but the problem with it, it's not a steady 25K, it's gusting, and that is where the riders are having their issues. If wind was steady the entire way, they'd be comfortable with that. You know, if some jumps you'd have a headwind, some jumps you'd have a tailwind. Well, when it's gusty, that's when you can either come up ridiculously short, which that's not what you want to do, or you can overshoot, and there's nothing scary being in the air knowing that the wind is carrying you, Cam?
Yeah, you already have so much to think about just trying to remember the tricks you want to do and the speed that you need to take into the jumps to do those tricks. To add something more to it, trying to like feel the wind as you're going down. You don't want to be glancing off course to see a tree or a flag. You want to be looking at where you're going, not where you are, not at the trees, and thinking about the tricks that you have to do next. So, you know, if it's in your head, then it's already winning. You got to put the wind out of your head completely. But if it's too windy, then there's no ignoring it. It's just there.
No, yeah, not at all. Well, we saw Carson Storch come down to test out the wind. Well, let's find out exactly what he thinks of the conditions right now. Tina, you're down there with Carson.
Yeah, Carson, you just did your guinea pig run. What's the result? What are your thoughts?
You know, the wind's pretty bad, but it's getting better, and you know, just took a run down just to test the waters, and you know, it's pretty good.
When you were on the jumps in the air, could you feel the wind?
Yeah, a few of them, but where it was really bad like an hour ago, it's not as bad now, so I think it's good to go. We're just gonna have to go when it looks right, and yeah, it's a slopestyle contest. We're in the mountains, and yeah, part of it.
And that's part of it. Well, guys, a couple more riders are coming down, testing the waters out or the dirt out, to say, and we'll get back to you with the results.
Tina, well, you can see Sam Pilgrim out on track right now. He is giving it his one go there. So this is the biggest thing, Cam. So the problem is if one rider wants to go, but the others don't, it almost becomes like a bit of a vote. Who is it? Who makes that decision of who is going to be dropping in and are we going to be starting the contest?
The great thing that's happening today, and it's different than it was in the past, is the riders are truly united right now. They all talked to each other and decided that they wanted to be together. There wasn't any rogues saying, you know what, it's not windy, I'm going to ride. They're like, look, let's be smart about this. They're all gnarly dudes, but they're all, you know, smart dudes, and they don't want to put themselves in an unnecessarily dangerous situation if you waited a half an hour and it would be all the difference. So you heard Carson say, this is slopestyle, we're in the mountains, it's just part of the game, and I love that perspective. Slopestyle is inherently gnarly, and these guys know what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah, exactly. It is the name of the game. But as you can see right there, the guy who is in the charge of the Triple Crown, Brett Rheeder, he just came down half the course, and he's hanging out, checking it out on the lower part now. So you can see Brett Rheeder kind of made it almost the whole way down the course. I'm guessing they've got a few select areas where they are concerned of what's going on. He's getting moving here again into the lower section.
And you're facing different directions on each straightaway on this course too. So if you have a consistent direction of the wind, it could be a tailwind from one straightaway, it could be a headwind on the other straightaway. You just never know what you're going to get. So these guys are calculating every little bit of their run, but something that's tough to predict and calculate is that wind.
Yeah, exactly, and especially with the riders, they've got big tricks. You know, if there is a little bit of wind, if they're hesitant, they don't want to unload something they maybe haven't tried too often, but Brett, we've seen him step up in the past. We saw him step up previously, mainly at the X Games in Munich, where the wind was a huge deciding factor, more than anything else. And he really took the bull by the horns there and made that contest happen. It'll be interesting to see if we can get some insight from him there in terms of what he's feeling. Is it a go? Is it a hold right now? Just have to wait and see.
Experience is definitely key. You were talking about Brett's X Games gold medal in Munich, and that was the windiest situation we've ever seen. And he was a guy saying, hey, let's do this, and he ended up taking the gold.
More than likely, same as last year.
Yeah, seeing what's going on.
Because by 5:15, that wind's just going to go. Yeah, and then 5:50, 5:15, 5:15.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The next concern, of course, is the sun. Right? So as we get closer to 7:15, that sun becomes an issue. So, you guys comfortable doing that?
You should ask all the riders, but well, that's the thing. I dropped in.
You got a bad gust as soon as you dropped in.
But when I dropped in, it was dead. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go now because it's dead. And then I dropped in, and the road gap was insane. And the next jump, it was crazy. So I don't know.
Well, it's totally up to you guys. I'm not gonna say let's go. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Like it's safety is paramount here, right? So
like maybe we keep doing what we're doing. We're like getting practice while we do it, and we're also figuring out. We're figuring out like when the gusts, if the gusts are gonna slow down and the gap's gonna get bigger, you know, because we'll all figure it out and we'll know.
Can you go do another lap then?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Head back up, guys. Give us another report. We need to. The more we can get you guys doing this, the more reports we can get, the more we can make a decision. So, thank you.
So you can see there, Darren Kinnaird, the head honcho here at Crankworx, the guy who pioneering where we're going with the sport of Crankworx, with the event itself, the guy who created the Triple Crown, chatting to the riders, and you can hear him there. Safety is paramount. It's not, hey, this is an event, you guys are my monkeys, get out there, go. It is, I want to make sure you guys are safe. I want to make sure you guys are comfortable with the environment that we are putting you in, because you're not just risking a little bit here, Cam. I mean, the consequences are huge on these tricks if things go wrong in the air.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line. It's a tough situation to be in, but as you can hear where we're eavesdropping there, everybody's doing the right thing. The event organizers are saying, look, we understand that you're not going to ride if it's too dangerous to ride, and the riders are also saying, look, we want to make this thing happen. Let's just keep riding, try to kind of wrap your head around the patterns of the wind and figure out a way to make it happen. It's a little give and a little take, and everybody's working toward the same goal.
Yeah, well, I felt like we were lurking on a conversation there. Like we were giving you guys the fly on the wall, because they didn't know we were listening, and they didn't know we were hanging out there. They're probably just think it's another camera down in the corral, not the fact that we're listening to every word they're saying, that we went quiet. It's like, what are they saying?
That's cool. I was thinking, all right, guys, don't say anything you don't want the world to hear.
Yeah, exactly. Well, talking about the world, we were down in Rotorua back earlier in 2015, way back when, and that is where stop number 1 of the Crankworx World Tour happened. And let's just take a step back. You keep talking about time machines. Let's hop in that time machine and let's check out what happened earlier this year down in Crankworx Rotorua.
Well, it's time to get this thing started, Rotorua. Are you ready?
We had a lot of rain this morning, so it's come out sunny now. We've taken the tarps off, and yeah, the course is drying out quite nicely here, so I think the comp's going to go down okay.
Brett Rheeder, run number 1.
Backflip tail up once again. Brett Rheeder landing perfect off that start step down. Cork 720 on the dirt to dirt right hip. Come on. Opposite truck going up with the flat drop backflip. Brett, this is looking great. He's going tail whip on the long and low into the money maker. Backflip bar spin to stretch on 93.33. Say hello to your new leader, Brett Rheeder.
I think we're all so nervous because it's just like, it's still March. It's like still the winter season for us, basically, back in North America. And I don't know, it's just so nerve-wracking sitting at the top of that roll. And
can't even imagine how cool this course is, you know. Feels like we spend more time in the air than on the ground, so that's an unreal feeling, so couldn't be better.
I've not seen that one from him yet. He's been doing his homework. He's got that 360 tucked on hander on the hip. Tail whip up. Big 360.
Well, here
What
we
better
go.
way to celebrate here than a victory lap.
These guys are good friends. Here we go.
Brett Rheeder laying the bike sideways. He's your champion out here today, and he's soaking up every bit of this victory lap.
Let's hear it for Brett Rheeder.
I always feel like I'm in Brandon's shadows, so to come down and win today, it feels amazing. Brandon did get hurt, and he couldn't do his second run. So, I mean, maybe some can argue that he would have had the winning run, but it's so hard to say with the level of riding here.
It's like it was the best one ever for me. Like so far for the Diamond Series was like the best track, and I'm pretty sure everybody loved it too.
Cam, pinch me, pinch me.
All right, there you go, pinched.
Oh, okay. Ow, dude, not so hard. I thought I was dreaming there for a second, but
You didn't say when to stop pinching
you didn't
you.
say, hey, stop pinching me. Okay, I wasn't dreaming. Man, I can't get over every time we watch these highlights from there of where we were, what happened, and the way things unfolded. Brett Rheeder there, you can see clearly in the hot seat with that 150 points. He is leading that charge. But you and I were talking while that was going on, and we gotta, let's think back here. Morning of that slopestyle, dude, it wasn't just sunny. It wasn't, you know, flowers and rainbows. It was an absolute downpour. A downpour to the point where I was like, there is no way this is happening this afternoon.
Yeah, you could see in that video a similar thing to what's happening right now in Les Deux Alpes was happening in Rotorua. We woke up in the morning, it had been raining all night, and it's been raining all morning. Luckily, they tarped the course, but still nobody thought that it was ever going to dry out in time for the competition. They pulled the tarps off, the sun came out, it dried up, and it's kind of a Crankworx tradition for something to happen with the weather right before finals. It happened in 2012 when Thomas Genon took the podium. It was the windiest Crankworx I've ever seen, and it's just tradition. You know, Crankworx has tendency to go off without a hitch, but usually at the beginning it's a bit of a bumpy road.
Well, every course has its advantage and disadvantage. As we saw in Rotorua, the ground there was like a sponge. It felt like an infomercial. It was like, wait, check this out. We're gonna soak everything up. Anthony Messere, your last year's winner here. He is out again. We are on a course hold right now, just checking things out. Our riders getting a little bit of practice, getting comfortable with what it is if we're gonna go for what's happening. So Messere there having a look. Hey Cam, you've competed more than me. I come from a downhill background. You come from the slopestyle. When you're testing a course this way, is there anything you're looking for? Because we talked about how you don't want to gust, but what is there anything specific when you're trying to figure out, or should we compete or shouldn't we compete?
The biggest thing is wind direction on each individual straightaway. If it's a headwind, then the speed is going to change drastically because you have to try to go faster because you've got all that wind resistance, and you have memorized how much you're supposed to brake for a jump. If you've got a headwind, you're going to have to brake less, but how much? So it's a guessing game already, but you add the wind into the mix and have straightaways going different directions, then it's just another thing you have to guess about.
See the riders dropping in kind of fast and furious here. They're all getting their chance to try and figure things out. I'm gonna say one thing though, we haven't seen Brandon Semenuk drop in yet. So is it he's comfortable with it, he doesn't need it, or maybe he's just hanging out and letting everybody else do the grunt work here to try and figure out what's going on?
Everybody had so much practice, their runs are dialed in, and you know, maybe Brandon's just thinking, hey, what's the point in riding in the wind and relearning the speeds if we're not gonna run the contest until the wind stops anyways? So there's a strategy where you just wanna keep riding, stay warm. We're seeing a ton of riders come down the course right now, which is always a great sign. But then the guys who aren't riding might just be thinking, I'm gonna wait until it's nice so I don't have to relearn speeds.
Yeah, exactly, that is the thing. It could throw you off. You've got your run dialed, you finished practice earlier on today. The last thing you want to do is go down, do one more run, and then find out it's not going to be enough. So we just saw a huge train of riders come down into the corral there. Well, we've actually got somebody down in the corral. We got Tina Dixon. Tina, what's the environment with the riders?
Well, I am with last year's champion, Anthony Messere, who just came down also. And Anthony, what's your assessment of the course right now?
Well, the wind's died down a bit. It's gotten better, but still a little bit windy halfway through the course. So I think we're all going to take a few more laps and see how we're feeling.
When you take these practice laps, what specifically are you looking for?
As far as judging the wind, or?
Yeah, as far as, are you working on your speed, your braking, you know, figuring out the timing on the jumps, really?
Yeah, well, it all depends. This course, it's got a lot of different switchbacks and a lot of different angles. So in some of the straights, it's a headwind, and some it's a tailwind, and some it's a side wind. So it's really hard to judge.
So ideally, it would just be calm for you guys, no tailwind, no side wind, no. And how is it feeling for you on certain spots that weren't very windy then? Is it more side wind, headwind, tailwind?
It's different. It varies throughout the course. It's mostly in the middle right now, which is a little bit of a tailwind, and the side wind on the road gap. So
at this point, guys, like you said, it's just a waiting game, but it is getting better.
Thank you very much, Tina there. Last year's champ giving us a bit of insight what's going on there. And, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully things will get going here. It is getting, we're in the booth, and we can actually make our own assessment. The wind has gone down. The gusts aren't as vicious before. Right before we went on air there, it was actually thinking, like, man, it feels like we're going to take off here. Like Wizard of Oz, all of a sudden we're going to fly off the hillside. Well, we've got Darren Kinnaird down there at the bottom. Let's listen to what's going on.
Wait till, you know, if you're feeling a little uncomfortable, wait a second, look at the trees, see what's going on. But if you guys are comfortable, we can start this thing. Kind of the latest we have at the moment is starting at 5:30, and it's 10 after 5 at the moment. So, thoughts and feedback. Well, Brandon and Logan just went up. So we can wait for them to come down and then make a decision, or... Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, because the thing is, like, you can start without any wind, and in the middle of your run, you can have a lot of wind.
That could happen.
You got to drop in with pure wind, and then there won't be any wind. That's the way to do it.
We want to wait till those boys come down and then get another update. I mean, yeah, it seems better now, but again, don't want to push. Okay, let's wait for them to come down. And how about this, guys? Let's aim for 5:30 to start. Okay? Okay? Cool. Okay, perfect.
Well, you can hear it right there, Darren chatting to the riders again, staying in touch with them of what their, what their wants are, what their needs are. Sounds like we've got some issues with the wind still, specifically on that road grab. I didn't quite catch what Sam Pilgrim said there, though.
I love Sam Pilgrim's strategy. He's saying, all right, well, everybody's saying if you drop in when it's a lull, then you're going to have a big gust halfway down. He says, well, just drop in when it's a huge gust, and then it'll lull right in the middle of your run.
That guy, he's a scientist.
I like that thought process.
He is thinking ahead of the curve, where everybody else is thinking, what if the wind catches me? He's thinking, well, what if I just drop in the wind, and it's just not going to be there when I get to the bigger tricks and the bigger jumps.
Anthony was saying that there's a side wind on the road gap and a tailwind on the big jump after the road gap. That's pretty wild, because that jump you have to slow down so much for as it is with no wind. So getting a tailwind into that, you'd have to brake twice as much. And I personally was using both brakes coming into that thing and still overshooting, so I couldn't imagine hitting that with a tailwind.
Yeah, well, we see Logan Pete there, one of the BFFs. Him and Brandon Semenuk, they are hanging out on top. Again, wind hold at the moment here. We'll see if he's going to drop in and give it a whirl, give it a test for us here. So you can see there, looking down on the beautiful valley there. And that's the problem. We've got the wind, we've got the sun, and that is those two elements there. You can see Darren was chatting to the rider saying, kind of 5:30, it's not the guaranteed cutoff time for you guys at home. It's not like, hey, 5:30 comes and they don't drop in, that's not going to be it. But he is just setting some times here to just try and figure out with the riders, make sure they're getting going. We can see there, Brandon Semenuk, he's hanging out. You know this guy, he's probably hungrier than ever after what happened down in Rotorua, Cam.
Yeah, you know, he does not like to lose, and he crashed a trick that he's been landing a lot at home, and one of those situations where he knows he could land it, and so he just wants another chance.
So Logan Pete dropping in, but would you really say that Brandon lost in Rotorua? He crashed. It's not that he, I don't know if I could go say that he lost on that one. Because,
well, to quote Ricky Bobby, either you're first or last, and he wasn't first, so by my calculations, he lost.
Yeah, you nailed it there. Words of wisdom from Ricky Bobby.
Good old Ricky Bobby.
So you can see there, Logan coming down, getting over the hip there into that big trick feature.
Anytime you see riders not pulling out at that halfway point when they're testing the wind, that's a really good sign. That means they're feeling all right. Sure, they probably got bumped around a little bit by some gusts, but they're pushing through, and that's a sign we might be able to get things underway here pretty soon.
Well, he is Canadian. He is pretty burly.
I'm sure he has many chainsaws.
Many chainsaws, many flannel there. So again, he's backflipping that final jump right there. Be interesting to see exactly what his take is. Brandon Semenuk now, his turn to give it the test. As we heard Darren say, he was waiting for these two guys to come down, see what their take is on the wind.
It'll definitely be interesting to hear what Logan and Brandon have to say after this wind check run, because that was kind of the determining factor if we were going to be able to pull it off and start things at 5:30. So whatever these guys say is kind of going to be the gospel here.
Exactly, sticking to a safety run there, not really doing a lot of tricks, doing more than I would ever do, and probably most of the viewers at home there throwing that down.
A chill wind test run for Brandon Semenuk is like a dream run for most people.
Yeah. Everybody else just dreamed to try and link together one of those tricks on this course, and he's just, yeah. I wonder if we can hear here when they come down exactly if there is any update on how they feel with the wind.
Okay, guys, are we feeling better about it now? Okay. Let's head up now. First rider will drop whenever, where'd Mitch go? He's already gone up? Okay. Okay, Mitch, let's head up. When you're ready, we'll go. Okay, guys? So have a great show. Feel free to hesitate in the start, okay? We got a little bit of time, okay? Have a great night.
Those guys are so awesome, I swear. They're embarking on something that's so gnarly, so nerve-wracking, so scary. And, Darren asked, hey, you guys ready? You want to start at 5:30? They just all nodded their head like a bunch of tough guys. Let's go do this.
Looking danger in the face, and they didn't even flinch. They're not even sweating down there. They know what they need to do. So, Cam, what would you do? I mean, you've gone through this process before. You're ready to drop in. You have a wind hold. what do you have to do mentally now? What do these guys have to do mentally to get ready now for competition time?
You got to do a couple things. You got to flip the switch. You got to put the wind out of your mind, just flip the switch and go into go for it mode, and then you have to get refocused as well. Doing a slopestyle run, you have to lose your inhibitions and be able to flip that switch and go for it, but you also have to be really focused to remember everything. So it's almost like turning your brain off one side of it and then turning your other side of your brain into like high-speed mode where you're in an extreme sense of focus.
And this is why you are a professional athlete. You know the ins and outs of that. I never really even thought about that information right there. I would just think, some riders mentally a little bit stronger. You'd be like, oh man, what am I going to need to do to kind of pop into that competition mode? So you guys heard it there. Darren Kinnaird chatting to the riders, getting a feel for things. We have the green light. So the riders are hopping on the rope tow. They're getting towed back up to the hillside. That means for all of you guys at home, competition will be starting soon.
Exciting times, Tristan.
It is exciting times. We're going to see the riders dropping in here very shortly. So you can see the riders going up the rope tow there.
Best part about Les Deux Alpes slopestyle course, that rope tow.
There's no truck. There's no pushing your bike up.
You can do so many laps in a short period of time. You just hook that thing underneath your crotch, you're at the top, you drop in, do another run.
I bet you if you could have had that in the backyard back in the day with the pool, with your drop-in ramp, you would have had one of those.
Would have been set.
Well, here we go. This is our start list. This is our running order for run number 1 tonight. Mitch Chubby, Simon Paget, they were alternates before today, Cam. They got the call, though, this morning. It is their turn. They are in competition.
So exciting to see all those guys who are on the alternate list make it in. They've been working so hard. It's incredibly difficult to get onto the Diamond Series. You come here as an alternate. You hope nobody gets hurt, but you hope something leads to you getting into the event, and boom, there they are.
You've probably never been in that position before, have you? You've always been the guy. You've always been the #1 invite.
Yeah, no, I haven't been on the alternate list before, but I have a feeling if I try to sign up for this one right now, I might be on the alternate list.
So you can see the rider, the last rider dropping on run number 1 there, Brandon Semenuk. It's going off the FMB standings from last year. And here is our format. 20 riders, 2 runs, max score 100 points. That's a lot to take in, Cam.
Yeah, it's a pretty mellow format, not too hard to wrap your head around. They've adjusted it, a lot of growing pains trying to figure out what works best for slopestyle, and this is definitely it. 2 runs, best one counts. The strategy is, do you go for the jugular both runs, or do you do a safety run and then go for it after you have something in the bag? The way it's shifting these days is they go for the jugular each run, and it's crazy.
What's the most amount of competition runs you've ever had to do in a comp? Because didn't we have 4 back in the day? Didn't we have your 2 qualifiers, and then you had your 2 super finals? And
yeah, I think there was probably 5 runs back in the day. You had to qualify, and then you had to do 2 runs to make it into the super final, and only the top 8 made it into the super final. And then you could improve upon your score, and then some people said, oh, let's drop the scores, and you have to do a new run. And it was just so complicated, and we realized that that would have led to the best run of the day, maybe not winning. So right now, it's cut and dry. It's simple. 2 runs, best one counts.
Yeah, exactly. So the question is, what are we going to see? Are riders going to throw down right away? We talked about it earlier. Safety runs. Is there going to be a safety run, or do you just know, what, I got to go for it just in case that second run I get blown a little bit harder?
Watching Semenuk and Rheeder compete against each other is completely different than watching a contest where only one of them is on the list. They push each other so hard, and it's a mind game trying to figure out what the other one is going to do. And it's a huge advantage being able to drop in last based off of the overall point standings from last year. Brandon Semenuk gets to go last today. He gets to see what Brett Rheeder does in his run. And that was the situation in Whistler last year, and Brett went straight for the jugular right away, and Brandon had to change his plan.
Well, you guys have heard what the riders say. You've heard what we have to say. We want to hear what you have to say. Go to crankworx.com. We've got our poll question today. So, at stop number 2 of Crankworx Slopestyle Triple Crown Series, well, what is going to happen? Well, we've got your options right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 1, Brett Rheeder will get 1 step closer to capturing the Crankworx Slopestyle Triple Crown.
Brandon Semenuk takes the win, thus ending Brett's quest for the title.
Anthony Messere becomes a repeat winner in Les Deux Alpes.
Or number 4, Nikolai Rogatkin takes his first Crankworx Slopestyle win, cementing his status.
That is hard, man. That is hard, because you're like, what do you pick there? I mean, part of me is like, pick number 4. I want to see Rogatkin. He is coming on, and he's coming on strong. But I want to see history made. I want to see Brett Rheeder capture this thing in its first year and take that Triple Crown and putting his name in the history books and cementing his legendary status already.
Any of those options can happen, but really, like, the truth of the matter is we're in a golden era of slopestyle. The competition is so exciting right now because you have so many riders who are on such a high level, and then the top two who are always ping-ponging back and forth. And then the drama is if they push each other too far, who's going to be there to pick up the pieces? So, you know, I don't know if it's ever been this exciting. I don't know if it will ever be this exciting again, but right now we've got a great show on our hands.
Well, on any given day, how many riders do you think can technically win?
I'm going to say 20.
You're going to say 20?
Because, you know, it's not impossible for 19 riders to crash. It's not impossible, especially with the wind and the amount of features on the course and the amount of bangers they're all trying to do on even the smallest features.
Well, some serious contenders there. We saw the start list. Again, we want you guys to go to crankworx.com, post your vote. But this is where it all begins. We've got our first rider. He's from Canada. We got Mitch Chubby up in the start gate there, and he's about to drop in on run number 1.
So exciting. We're finally starting this thing, Tristan.
He's got that mirrored lens in, eye of the Terminator. Bike is ready. He is looking dialed. Again, he was an alternate before today. He got the call this morning.
Mitch Chubby running that mechanical gyro there, not having to do the math in his head, thinking about bar spins and tail ups.
No, you can just go for it. So again, our riders maybe waiting for the gust to come down, as you saw from Darren there. He is letting them have extra time. Mitch looking at the trees, trying to judge exactly when is that ideal time to drop in.
This is when the crowd starts to really squirt your adrenaline. You're hearing them cheering, and you know it's about time to drop in and do your job, and that adrenaline just starts getting in your veins, and it's on.
It is infectious. You got to control it. Too much adrenaline, you're not going to make it down the course. Not enough adrenaline? Well, looks like the adrenaline is flowing, and Mitch Chubby dropping in.
Mitch Chubby starting out 360 in the skinny start drop, going into the small whale tail with a backflip. Straight into a 360, carrying momentum into the middle section of the course. Tail whip.
He's bringing it. He's bringing it.
He's staying composed. Backflip tail up on the first trick jump. Nose manling into that road gap. This one's the one they were saying that you had some wind problems with. Opting for a straight air on that. We were hearing about a tailwind on this, going for the Superman Seeker up Indian air despite the tailwind.
Looking good, looking good.
Alley-oop 270, opposite 360 on the spine. Right into the big whale tail. Not getting a trick in, but back flipping out.
Okay, coming down, only a couple more features left.
The third trick jump's gonna be a backflip bar spin for Mitch Chubby. He's got one last feature, this dirt-to-dirt step down. Nice cork backflip. Our first run is in the bag.
First run in the bag. Mitch Chubby breaking the ice for all the other riders there. Throwing the hands up, setting the bar. We saw a couple little issues there, maybe getting caught with the wind. It is hard. Again, he has got a lot probably going on mentally today. Not only was he an alternate, getting the call in, but let's go back up. Let's check things out here. Big backflip to start off the run.
Basically, there's no better feeling than getting to the finish corral, especially when you're the first rider on course. He did get a trick on probably 90% of the features, so that was a great run. Superman seat grab, Indian air, grabbing the seat, crossing the legs, and then spinning both ways. We had an opposite 360 on one of those on that spine, which is like signing your name with your opposite hand. Super hard to do, so he'll be getting some variety points for that. Backflip bar spin on the third trick jump, and a nice smooth corked out backflip to finish the run.
Yeah, again, solid run there. Mitch Chubby breaking the ice for us here. And you said it, getting the opposite trick there. So again, the judges, they see that stuff. But let's see what the judges say here. 62.50. So first run in the bag for Mitch Chubby, and the first run for all of our riders here.
It was a good strategy too, how he's doing the regular and the opposite back-to-back, so the judges definitely noticed that.
Yeah, here we go. Simon Paget from France. He is 18, doing it for Specialized. Our second alternate that got the call here this morning. You know he's going to be feeding off the crowd and that French culture here.
The young gun Frenchman, you know the crowd is going to be behind him.
He is one of the youngest riders. Let's see what he has for us here.
Rookie on the Diamond Series, starting out this run off the skinny drop with a nice bar spin, moving right into the small whale tail, tuck no hander in, 360 out, same as what we saw from Mitch Chubby. Just styling out the hip, rolling in to the first of three perfect trick jumps. Backflip tail whip. Oh, he missed pedals on that, and that's going to be the end of the run for Simon Pages.
That is it. You can see maybe braking a little bit too much or a bit too much headwind there, casing that and going over the bars and not getting the feet back on in time.
Yeah, if they were talking about that trick jump after the road gap being a tailwind, then that one is facing the exact opposite direction, and he came up short, so it could have had something to do with the headwind.
Well, he is all good, fans. He is up. You know, though, that's got to be a frustrating one. He's going to have to dust that one off. Beauty with the 2-run format. He can throw that one away. He has one more run. He's going to be able to watch all the other riders do what they need to do here, and hopefully he'll be able to harness that for run number 2. Having a breather on the side there.
Thankfully, Simon Pages has another run. Sometimes when you have a crash, you just want to get right back up there. You don't want to wait for the whole field to go because the adrenaline's flowing, and it's like, get me back up there, let me do my run. But it looks like he's going to be able to utilize this time, sit it out, kind of start feeling a little bit better.
He's going to need to hit the Control-Alt-Delete and start over, start fresh, reboot that hard drive, all the tricks there, and do it in run number 2. Again, not really getting maybe a sense of the wind there. Things actually pretty mellow right now. Not too crazy. But let's get crazy here for one of the Canucks, the Canadian rider, Paul Genovese, 21, doing it for Fox and Chromake. He is up in the gate. And we are seeing him really start to come on here with the Diamond Series.
Yeah, Paul Genovese is really climbing the ladder. He's on the Diamond Series this year, making it into this event. And, you know, he's going to cement himself in these rider lineups because he's riding really well. Tuck no-hander to bar spin, combination going into the whale tail, perfect truck driver out. He's off to a great start, tail whipping the hip. Taking a pedal into this first of 3 perfect trick jumps, going for the backflip bar spin.
Such great style on the upper part of the course here.
We got that difficult road gap, and he's able to trick it with a tuck no-hander, backflip tuck no-hander, linking all these tricks together and complementing the trick before with the next trick.
Yes, here he goes, here he goes.
Love the Superman C-Crab Indian Air, slipping pedals a little bit, but holding on to composure into the whale tail. Backflip, one-footed X-up on the step down. Such a tough variation on a step down jump. Double tail whip on the 3rd trick jump. He's got one more feature for you. Nice smooth backflip to finish things off for Paul Genovese.
Paul bringing the heat on run number 1 there. Again, new to the Diamond Series here with the FMB, working through adversity, working through the win there, and putting together a solid first run. You can see here, tuck no-hander to the bar spin combo. Great option to start it off.
First 3 features all had bar spins on them. 4th feature had a tail up. You notice that Mitch Chubby was running that mechanical gyro. A lot of guys doing that these days, mechanical gyros, hydraulic gyros. That basically means your cables don't get tangled. Paul Genovese does not have one of those detangling systems, so he has to constantly be thinking, all right, how many bar spins am I going to do until I get wrapped up? And thinking about the math, if you miss a trick, what does that mean? Can you still do the next trick that you had on your plan?
Well, the Canadians are pretty smart. They know how to count. We know how to fall trees. We know how to count those things as we go. And he's throwing the bars side to side on that one. Now waiting for what the judges say. We saw a couple bobbles in there. Colin Duncan broke down earlier on what kind of deductions we see. You don't get feet on the pedal. That's where deductions come in, so.
Tough to be a judge because you're trying to think, you know, what is coming up and how big of a deal are these bobbles going to be. The bobbles are really small in Paul's run, just a little bit of a slip pedal on that C-Crab Indian Air.
All right, here we go. What do the judges have to say on run number 1? Paul Genovese locking in 2nd place with a 57.50. So that is from deductions. That is why he is not in 1st place right now, but he's got one more run and one more attempt to try and get up to the top step of that box. Again, awesome aerial shot there, Cam, of all the fans, the course, top to bottom there.
I just love the way we have these riders ranked from lowest qualifying to highest from last year's series because it's just getting ramped up as we go. The next guy is somebody I'm really excited to watch. Out of France, Mehdi Ghani.
Yeah, you were actually telling me when we were chatting about him, this is a guy that you could say could be the wild card. He could either do the pole bass, AKA win it, or he won't.
Bar spin off that top feature, the skinny drop. Mehdi Ghani new to the Diamond Series, but looking like a vet with that backflip bar spin in, a truck driver out of the first small whale tail. Tail whip right to pedals on that hip.
Nice.
I told you he was going to be linking together a good run. Front flip, tuck no-hander.
He did it, he did it.
He has so many tricks. Can he link them all together on this highly difficult course? Tuck no-hander on the road gap. He's into that next trick jump with a big backflip tuck no-hander.
You look like you wanted another trick on that combo.
He's got him. You should see how many tricks this guy can pack into one jump. Holding it together, didn't even take a foot off on that slide out. Tuck no-hander into the big whale tail, backflip down, landing 2 tires, perfect. Third trick jump, backflip tail, landing sideways, but holding on into the last dirt step down, backflip bar spin.
He does it.
Oh man, that was a great run for Medigani.
That is how you ride the course. That is how you put down technical tricks, top to bottom. Cam, you called it.
I told you he was sick, right?
You told us he was gonna be sick. I was like, I have never heard of this guy.
I was just hoping that he'd be able to put together a run.
Look at this front flip tuck no-hander.
This slopestyle course is really difficult, and you see him thriving on more dirt jump-oriented tracks, but I've seen his riding. I know that he has what it takes to link him up on the more difficult features like that whale tail. You know, there's 3 lip downs on this course, a flat drop at the top, 3 perfect trick jumps, and he tricked every single one of them.
Medigani arriving in the future, setting a standard here.
He's here. Medigani has arrived on the Diamond Series.
He is here, and it is going to be awesome to see what he can do. What are the judges going to say for the France rider here? 69.75. We have a new leader, Cam.
Moving into the first spot, Medigani. I'm really stoked for him. He's had a lot of struggles with injuries. He's on the older end of the spectrum, and he's been around for a long time. But just the injuries come at an inopportune moment, making it so he doesn't have the points to get to the Diamond Series, but he's finally here.
Well, we can see the course, we can see the riders. Medigani in the lead right now. He is in that first spot, taking the lead. Well, as you can see there, we've got our leaderboard. Medigani, 69.75. Mitch Chubby in second with a 62.50. Paul Genovese with a 57.50. This is just run number 1, Cam, and we're only a few riders in.
I told you, it just keeps getting better, and we were worried about the wind, but everybody has finished their run except for Simon Pages here. We've got a bunch of solid runs in the gate, and Tom Van Steenbergen coming up next.
That is right, another one of the Canadians riding with a little bit of a tweaked knee right now. He's not at 100%, but when it comes to a stop on the Diamond Tour, you need to step up, and this is oh my God!
Speaking of stepping up, off the first skinny drop, a front flip. We have not seen that yet, not even in practice. Tuck no-hander to the toboggan in, bar spin out, tail whip right to pedals.
Look at this, he is setting the bar so high right away.
Turning up the heat. You mentioned how he's coming back from an injury, but he is such a tough guy. He's doing a trick on every single feature and doing what he has to do.
Injury? What injury, Cam? Look at this run.
Oh, another front flip on the biggest trick jump on the entire course, landing absolutely perfect. Tom, the Trek C3 project rider on the Diamond Series right now. Hasn't been on the Diamond Series for a long time, but he is definitely looking like he belongs.
Well, he is making a breakout right now. A few more jumps to go.
We got the last straight trick jump on the course. He's not able to get a trick on that, but he does have one more feature. The finish step down with a smooth backflip to give a nice little icing on the cake.
At that, what a run. Front flip off a skinny drop, Cam.
Like, are you kidding me? He started this thing called Mini Flip Monday on Instagram, where he flips something, the smallest thing you can find every single Monday. And he's front flip, I think he has the smallest front flip in the world right now. So even though that thing is the smallest feature on the course, it's still bigger than what he can
Look at this,
off of.
look at this. You have no idea. That is just a small drop, and he is doing that, and then straight into combos.
Did you see him rearing back, grabbing the rear brake, and then jumping from his pedals to initiate that front flip, putting all of his energy and inertia from the back to the front. That was that one weak link in the run, straight airing that jump. I know he had some big plans for that one, tricks that he hasn't tried before, and he's got another run to try to pull it off.
Yeah, maybe getting caught with the wind. Now up to the judges. It is up to them. What are they gonna say? Waiting for the Canadian rider here. Where's this gonna put him? 50.25, good enough for 4th place. So again, big tricks, but he's got to link it all together. We did it earlier. What's in, what's out. What's out, you can't straight air anything. Costly mistake right there.
A perfect slopestyle run is basically like a well-formed sentence. You have to have a capital at the beginning and a nice period to top it off at the end, and then fill it up with some great content. He had the capital letter. He just needs to fill it up with some nice words.
Well, dropping X in next. Sam Pilgrim, second in the 2013 Les des Alpes slopestyle. 2014, though, he's going to want to erase that. That was not a good year for him. Cam, what happened to him last year? We didn't really see him.
But, man, is he ever looking on point now? Yeah, you can definitely go back to last year and say that he you know, he had a couple hurdles to jump over and maybe just wasn't feeling it so much, but he really looks back on point this year. Back to the old Sam Pilgrim that we knew before, just like robotic technical tricks back to back to back. And, you know, it's tough to do non-stop. You need a break every once in a while, so I think last year's break is exactly what he needed.
Well, let's see if he's looking refreshed here in his first big comp back.
360 on the start, skinny drop. Moving right into the small whale tail, backflip tabletop in, landing with good speed, and a 360 tail up out. The biggest trick we've seen out so far. 270 click table on the hip. What trick does he have for us on the first? Oh, there we go. Cork 720.
Oh, he did it.
The trick you gotta have in 2015. Sam Pilgrim has it. Flipping the road gap. The first time we've seen that in competition today. Backflip, tuck, no-hander.
He's getting the run together. The crowd's going nuts.
They are really behind Sam Pilgrim. He's been coming out here for years and years. He's always been a crowd favorite. Tuck, no-hander into the big whale tail, backflip, tabletop out. What's he got on this next trick jump? Backflip tail up, catching early and trying to squeeze around the rotation, just barely pulling it off. Last dirt-to-dirt step down, another straight backflip. Smooth run for Sam Pilgrim.
Sam Pilgrim is back, Sam Pilgrim is healthy, and Sam Pilgrim is stoked on that one.
Look at that look on his face. That just shows how great it feels to finish your run without a crash.
Getting over maybe that mental hurdle from last year and linking it up top to bottom there.
Let's take a look at this. He was really high on that backflip tabletop, getting those amplitude points, getting the technicality points for the 360 tail whip out. Degree of trick difficulty very high on doing that on a step down. Oh, Cork 720, the trick of the year. You gotta have it.
So hot right now, so hot.
Look at that, he almost got hung up, under rotated on that backflip tail whip, but he was able to make himself small, slow up the rotational inertia, and get to the wheels.
Something tells me this could be a new leader here, but that is just my opinion. It is up to the judges. We're gonna have to wait and see what they say. Loving that big toothless grin. We've seen it forever. What is Sam Pilgrim gonna walk away with here? 78.50. We've got a new leader again, Cam. Let's go down and have a word with our leader right there.
Thanks, and Sam, with the 78.50, you are our new leader, but 2014 was not your year. How redeeming is it to just be able to put that first run down, including that backflip over the road gap?
Yeah, actually that backflip on the road gap, like 3 years ago, I crashed there real bad, so it's real good to be able to do it again, and feel so good this year, having fun, and made a run down, which is always really good.
You know, to be able to get this one run down after the wind hold, how are you now approaching run two?
Now we can just go hammer time and drop some bigger tricks and just have actually more fun because there's less pressure now, so yeah, enjoy.
All right, one run down for Sam. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Tina. It is going to be hammer time, Cam, and it is going to be hammer time for all of our athletes. But great to see him kind of come over a mental hurdle from 3 years ago there, crashing on that backflip, and now he's sitting in the lead comfortably by almost 10 points.
Yeah, that road gap's been on the course ever since they started having the slopestyle on this hill, and it's always been gnarly to flip it. A feature like that, it's never going to be not gnarly, and the fact that he can conquer that demon is just great.
Well, the next rider in the gate, we saw him earlier on testing it. Carson Storch, 22 from Bend, Oregon, one of your buddies. He's got 5 Diamond Tour starts, 2 top 10s. Today is his 6th start. We will have to see what he's got.
Oh man, I am so pulling for this kid. Been riding with him a ton at home, living in the same town as Carson right now. Starting out with a tail whip into the small whale tail, opposite 360 out, into a regular flat spin 450 on the hip, going both ways, getting that technical trick points. 360 tail whip right to pedals on that first trick jump. Now he's into that road gap that we were talking about before. What's he got for us? A tail whip! Oh, he got the pedals!
Oh, is he gonna recover? Yes!
He slipped off, but he got him back on in time to figure out his speed and get a nice corked flip on that next trick jump. Going for truck driver on the spine. This is a great run going. Bar spin up to the big whale tail, 360 down. He's got another couple opportunities for you here. 360 opposite, whoa, opposite 360 downside tail whip. Missing the pedals a little bit, but not so much where he can't finish this run with a nice corked out backflip on the step down.
Carson Storch putting it together here on run number 1.
So good to see. Watching him try to piece that run together in practice. There was things that he was struggling with, but he stomped them all here. A couple little bobbles of the pedals. We've seen the judges kind of be real critical on that. But getting one in the bag, just like Sam Pilgrim was saying, it allows you to go for the juggler in your second run.
Look at this again. Tail whip up top. then getting that opposite 3 off of there.
The great thing is he landed on the pedals when he needed to. If you miss the pedals on one of those whale tails and you can't hit the next one, something like this, boom, fell off, but he had enough time to recover, tap the brakes, and get into that flip on that trick jump.
He must be part cat because he recovered so well on that, getting the feet back on.
I heard him meow as he passed us. That opposite 360 downside tail is so technical, spinning his opposite direction and doing a tail up, kind of like a decade.
Well, somebody get him some Mal Mix. He's still got one more run to go here. It's up to the judges right there.
There was a
How
couple
much deductions will there be?
Yeah, there was the deductions that are easy to see to the untrained eye, but then there's also the opposite variations that you wouldn't know are opposite.
40.75 Cam. Good enough for 6. He's got to clean that up, though.
Yeah, and he's got what it takes to clean it up. Having that confidence of one run in the bag is sometimes all it takes to get a banger second run.
So big tricks. Just needs to do a little bit different there. Get the feet on the pedals to put that together.
Ooh, look who's next.
The next rider, he's the Czech Republic from he's 25, Thomas Zeta. He's got 8 Diamond Tour starts. Tomas, so this is a guy, bright bike. I don't know if he's ever changed a bike. It always seems like the same bike each and every round over the years here.
He has been running the same bike for a lot of years. He's had the same riding style for a lot of years. You just see him add more and more tricks. His riding style is just boom, 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 boom. He fits as many tricks as he can into each individual feature. He's the guy running one of those hydraulic gyros because he'll be doing bar spins and tail ups in the same jump in variations with spins and flips. Let's see what he has for us.
Tomas dropping in with a bar spin.
Starting off with that bar spin, not having to count the cables. Suicide into the small whale tail, 360 tail whip out. I love that. Going tail whip again on the hip. Now we've got our first trickable straight double. Truck driver to tabletop, trying to fit as much in as he can on that jump. The road gap going just for an X up, setting up. He loves the straight trick jumps, and he's got a smooth tail up. Looks like getting a little bit caught up in the wind on that tail up. He usually stretches out the legs like a big Superman, but he's holding it together with a backflip tabletop on the spine.
Yes, he is down in the lower part now.
Big whale tail bar spin in, 360 down. All right, this is what he loves. He loves the straight trick jumps. Bar spin to tail whip. So tough to fit both those tricks into one jump there. Straighter on the last step down. The judges aren't going to love that, but they are going to love that bar spin to tail up here in the second to last feature.
They are going to love a bunch of the tricks on that one. Again, a good, solid first run there, and you can see maybe changing things up, being safe on the jumps that he knew where there could be wind. Again, he's been hanging out. Those riders were dropping in pretty quick before we went to contest. You can see that combo there right away off the start.
Making that 360 tail up out of the small whale tail looks so easy. Just textbook, feet to the pedals, on to the next feature. That road gap is really tough to trick, and he's going just for the X up on that, keeping it smooth so he can lay out this nice tail up on the biggest trick jump on the course.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's my favorite part here, the bar spin to tail up. Missing pedals a little bit, but such a hard trick, it kind of will balance out at a certain point.
Okay, well, we are seeing the riders go here back up top, or sorry, down at the crowd there. Tomas waiting for his score, waiting for the judges. So again, we've seen a bunch of little blips there. 36.25, so good enough for 7th. But this is where we're at, Cam. This is where we're at. It's not that we want to give somebody a low score, but this is where we have to have our deduction, so we have our range. So when somebody puts down that flawless run, we have something to go with.
How about that? You could do a bar spin, a tail up, and a run, and still only beat one guy, the guy who crashed out of the run. That's just speaks volumes to how tough this level of competition is this year.
Yeah, very much so. Again, getting a full gain there. You can see our standings up on that right-hand side. Pilgrim still sitting in there. And the man with zebra pants, Tomas Lemoy, he is the guy. He's been doing so much. 5 diamond starts, 13th overall in the 2014 series there. We saw him get 3rd in the pump track in Rotorua, 4th in speed and style there. But he got 5th in 2012 here with the latest Alpes Slopestyle. So many results, Cam, so many accomplishments. But he just needs to add the one thing. He needs to get himself a gold medal, and the time is now with his run number 1.
Is this guy well-rounded or what? You just listed off a bunch of accolades from a ton of different disciplines. He's got the full package, and you don't see that very often with the really young riders. But he's been the protege of Dangerous Momo, the old free rider from back in the day, and he's really led him on the right path. He's a slopestyle specialist. He hasn't stood on the podium here in his home country of France yet, and he's looking to do that today.
So what you're saying is, for all the young athletes out there, ride everything, don't stick to one discipline, and then when you figure out exactly what you want to do, then get into that one discipline?
That's the way to do it, man. If you can ride a little bit of downhill, a little bit of everything, get the wide variety of bike skills, they're going to come in handy when you're riding a slopestyle course, because sometimes, you know, you're in Les Deux Alpes France, for example, you got rocks, you got loose conditions, you got to know how to corner.
So he is up there. He is waiting on the gust of wind. We still got a little bit here. It's not that it's dead calm now, but he is just trying to wait for that optimal time of when to drop in. Do you think Pilgrim dropped in when it was windy? He did say it.
That's what he's saying his strategy was. The run seemed to go pretty well for him, so whatever he did, it seemed to be the right thing.
Okay, here we go. Thomas Lemoyne.
There we go. Tuck no hander off the start. Skinny drop. The thing's only about 7 inches wide. Backflip, looking for a variation, not able to get it into the first whale tail. Perfect truck driver out, though. Oh! He was just getting back the momentum, but missing the bar spin after that tuck-to-bar combo. Making up for it, though, getting the flip bar spin on the next trick jump.
Cleaning this up.
I love the composure here. Just pretending like that mistake never even happened because there's so many more features on the course. Huge flat spin 360, tuck no-hander, holding him off for a real long time. Backflip bar spin on the spine.
Getting the style points.
Bar spin into the whale tail with a 360 X up out. He is definitely recovering very well from that small mistake up top. Backflip tail whip, slipping one pedal but getting back on it. Oh no! This is exactly what we were talking about. He has all those bike skills to not wash out, but it can still happen to anybody.
Tucking the front end on that, and you can see it. He is not pleased with himself. He has got pride. He is from France. And you know what? He almost made it down so close. One more jump to go.
On that jump, you basically have to transfer from left to right to set up outside in that berm to be able to square off and get a lot of speed for that dirt-to-dirt step down. He may have landed a little bit inside on the left of the jump before and had not been lined up perfect for that berm and just lost the front end.
Well, we saw him last night work through the determination and through any adverse conditions. He's going to shake this one off. We know he'll be back on that next run there.
Yeah, he's not happy with himself, but we saw from that run he has great composure, so I know he's going to be able to push it all aside, get it back up there for his second run and fix the mistakes.
Well, as you can see up here, here he comes. He's got the transfer, getting the flip whip.
And he was landing that a ton in practice, super smooth, so I was almost thinking that was a gimme. But
just tuck the front end there. It's kind of a weird crash, not what you'd expect.
Feet off the pedals, having to make a corner really quickly after that jump. It's no surprise that he lost the front end.
So the judges giving him a 30.75, good enough for 8th. But he has got that second run. That is where he'll be able to try and link it together, do the French Pride. Well, let's go down to Tina. She's down there with a special guest in the corral.
Well, we have talked about this before, that these riders are warriors and always pushing the level. And Antoine, we wanted to see you here compete in slopestyle. You've decided to sit on the sideline. What happened this morning?
I wanted to ride so much, but this morning, while I was jumping the last step down, I got blown by the wind and pretty much couldn't do anything. My bike did 90 degrees and I hit the ground pretty hard on my head. And just since that, I did a few runs trying to ride, but I knew I couldn't go for my best run for what I wanted to do, so I prefer keep it safe. And I know I'm not 100%, so I'm keeping it safe we still have the whole season to go, and I want to have fun on season long, so that's my decisions.
Yeah, there are a lot more competitions coming up. Now, you said keep it safe, safety first, but as you sit here and watch these riders go down, what's your perspective?
Yeah, you like everyone. You wanna go so big, and the jump, the spot is pretty good. And I know, like, I had big plans. Like everyone can send it, and I crashed, so I can't ride. But like I know I would have gone big, like everyone goes, and I'm pretty stoked to watch my friends going big. But it's just not my day.
Well, thanks so much for your time, Antoine, sitting on the sidelines, but still supporting everyone out there, guys.
Thank you, Tina. And as he said it there, just not his day. That is what the athletes have to do, be able to see the big picture. We know he'll be back. He'll be wanting to be healthy for Whistler. That is where it counts next in the World Tour. All right, so we're hanging out here, checking out the course, seeing that on and off on that whale tail there. We're getting through the first round of riders going in there. Still lots more going run number 1. But check out all things on Red Bull TV. That is where you go.
want to change the way people see the world. Go beyond the ordinary.
I like to go out and explore.
Experience it all.
So few people get to experience things like this.
It's very inspiring.
For me, it doesn't get better than that.
I feel like we've only really scratched the surface. There's endless possibilities.
Blink of the eye, the thrill of the chase, the pound of the heart, and all that for one euphoric moment.
When you see what a difference you make to people, the reward is unlike anything I've ever known in my life.
There's nothing to describe it. Nothing on earth.
It's gonna be insane to watch and be a part of.
Enjoy the ride.
Red Bull TV Global. Giving wings to the next generation of television.
And that is why right there, that is my homepage is set to redbull.com. That is why you see all the latest, greatest, and breaking videos right there. Man, so much action with that stuff. And here is our leaderboard right now. You can see the Great Britain rider, Sam Pilgrim, doing his country proud and strong, sitting up there with a 78.50. But Cam, we still got some heavy hitters to come here.
We got some heavy hitters to come. We got my ringer sitting there in second place, Medigani.
You made the call, dude. You made the call. You made the call not today, not yesterday. You actually made the call when we were driving in on Thursday there. You kind of were like, nah, there's this guy, Medigani. He could be my wild card for slopestyle finals.
Man, I'm stoked he didn't make a liar out of me.
No, not at all. We are back up there. We are looking at Logan Pete. He is up in the gate there. 25 years old from Roberts Creek. Maybe you've heard of that. That's where the Coast Gravity Bike Park is. Pretty rad little spot. And last year was his breakout year, getting fourth at that Joyride. You know, that little event that we have in Whistler each and every year.
Man, Logan Pete getting fourth place at Joyride was so awesome. He's been in the game for a really long time, had some gnarly injuries, and actually took a couple years to get back. But now he's training partners with Brandon Semenuk. Could you possibly have a better training partner? It seems to be working.
Not at all. He's got the keys to that all-access compound there on the coast. And of course, not showing, it's just showing that last year wasn't a fluke, getting fifth at round number 1 there in Rotorua. So he was on the kind of box there with that fifth position, showing that, you know what, he is ready, he is here, he's now. And like you said, he was injured a few years ago. People kind of forget, it's not he's a new rider. He's just been around forever, and he's had some adverse conditions to work through with injuries.
Which has just made him stronger. You watch him ride, and you can see this composure from a veteran rider. It's kind of reminiscent of the way Brandon rides. You don't see their head bob at all when they land. And they put their bike exactly in the right spot when they need it to be there. And, he's following the right footsteps, I think.
Exactly. Well, you can see right there, look at the wind in the background. That is why we're just having a little bit of a break. But talking about a break, we're not seeing somebody here right now, Cam, due to a break, and he broke his leg again, his tib and fib. We're talking about Martin Soderstrom.
Oh, the wrong kind of break, the kind of break you don't want. Unfortunately, man, he's had 3 in the last couple years on this leg. You can see the hardware there from the break before. He'll be out for not as long as he was for that huge one he had at Joyride, but still a good 6 to 8 weeker.
Yeah, look at that hashtag there. A little bit of beep, beep, beep on that one. But we want to see the big guy back. We saw him last year. He just didn't look like it himself at all the events. He was struggling. He wasn't happy. Broke it again. And then really in Rotorua, though, we saw a completely different person. We saw the Martin Soderstrom that we all love from years ago. He was smiling, he was happy, and he was healthy. happy.
Yeah, it's a big loss for Crankworx in general to not have Martin out here. He's a crowd favorite. Everybody loves him. He brings an amazing energy. The big Swede, as Brad J calls him. He's always going to be a contender for the podium, and even in some of the other disciplines as well. DS&S, the Pump Track Challenge, and the Slopestyle.
Well, that's it. I remember a couple years ago at Crankworx, he took the Pump Track Challenge and might as well made it a DS&S. He was tricking jumps, and you're like, what is this guy doing? He's going to wear himself out in that Pump Track Challenge.
He's one of those guys. I mean, he's older than Lemoyne, but he was one of the first riders to do what Lemoyne has done, kind of start out and you know, have a great, well-rounded package of skills.
All right, well, it's looking like we are getting the green light. Logan Pete is ready, and he is dropping in on his first run.
Logan Pete going 360 off the skinny drop to start things off on the right foot. Tail up into the small whale tail with a 360. That's an opposite 360 X up out. There we go with the regular 270. Logan naturally spinning to the right. Backflip bar spin, looked like he was pulling it in, trying to get a tuck no-hander, but getting that backflip bar spin on that first straight trick jump. Flip on the road gap. Landing so perfect right into the berm, lining up for the next one with the backflip tail up, casing. Oh, coming up short. So hard to judge speed for that jump. You got to brake, you don't know how much. You pop a little bit more for the backflip tail. Next thing you know, you're hitting knuckle.
He looked good off the road gap before that big trick jump there.
He's all smiles, though. He knows he's got a second run, and he's got that adrenaline flowing through his veins right now. He's like, get me back up to the top.
Get me to the top. You know, if you're smiling right away after a crash, he is confident. He is confident inside right there. Logan Pete, smile on his face. He is happy.
I have a feeling he's going to put on a show for us and continue out this run just for the fans. Look at this. He's putting his helmet back on.
Putting it back on, getting readjusted, because as much as he's crashed, he still has a chance to get a couple more jumps in, AKA extra practice before going into run number 2. They're throwing up the hands.
It's extra practice, and it's also just considering that, you know, he came all the way from Canada. The crowd here loves him, and he's going to put on a show.
Such a good sportsman here. Such a great guy.
There we go, 360 out of the whale tail. What kind of show is he going to put on for us?
Looking like he had something big maybe to think out there.
I know what he's thinking. He is treating this as a practice run. I know what he's thinking on that jump.
You know what he's thinking? Well,
he's thinking combos.
He's thinking combos. Well, that is the scary thing for us right here, Cam. You look at the riders, and it's not even 2 combos now. You got to make sure you get more than 2 combos if you want to get a good score.
It's ridiculous. We talk about how there's 12 trickable features. If you do more than 1 trick on each jump, how many tricks is that?
Well, let's look to see what happened here. He got the extension. He got it around.
I love his style on backflip tail-ups. He's not even looking for the flip. He's watching that bike whip around and just trying to get his feet back on.
Getting the backflip over the road gap there.
The backflip on the road gap is worth huge points because that's a true mountain bike kind of free-ridey feature. It's a step down, it's dirt to dirt, it's on an angle, super tough to trick.
All right, so 22 points, good enough for 9th spot there for Logan Pete.
Next time.
Look at that, get me back up to the top. Next time, he says.
Next time, next time. Well, he has got another go around. The go-around right now, Yannick Granieri, one of the most successful slopestyle riders ever, still doesn't have a win though, Cam. Could this be the day? He's in his home country. Could he pull it off?
Home soil. If he was going to get a win on the Diamond Series, this would be the one for him. The crowd would absolutely go nuts. Yannick's been in the scene for a long time, got a big fan following, and actually riding a slopestyle bike here. He's traditionally been riding a hardtail. He's going for dual suspension this time.
Well, if he were to win, something would tell me he'd almost probably miss his flight to Crankworx Whistler because he'd be partying so hard if he did get that. He is 28, our oldest competitor in the field here today. He got 4th in Les Des Alpes in 2012 and 2013. Can he get a breakthrough? Can he get into the top 3 here?
A couple 4ths under his belt, so close to that podium. You know, he smelt it before. He wants to get up there.
Yeah, he smelt it, not close enough for a lick there to get onto that. He's hanging out up there. Again, you can see the standing Sam Pilgrim still sitting comfy in that lead there.
He has a hefty lead over Medigani as well, but can Yannick Granieri do something about it? He's got an X up off that first skinny start drop. Small whale tail, front flip in, spotted his landing under his armpit. Whoa, truck driver holding the hand off. Man, that truck driver had so much style. He left his hand off all lazy.
Oh my gosh.
Trick jump, cork 720, Yannick Granieri, a new move for him. He knows it's 2015, he's got to bring the heat with the cork 7. Ooh, tail whip on the road gap, missing the pedals, but recovering nicely, just like we saw Storch do. But Yannick goes for the backflip, tail up on the next jump. Yannick is on fire right now. Flat spin X up, Now he's coming into the big whale tail. Bar spin in, backflip out. 2 more chances to cement this run. Double tail up, another new one for Yannick Granieri. Man, he's been doing his homework. Oh my gosh, no! Oh, he's going for the backflip bar spin.
He had it together.
Oh man, that turned from magic to tragic real quick.
From flawless from the top there, big tricks. We've got some of the best medical personnel in the game there. They're gonna give him a once-over. We've got the best out there though. They are on the scene already. They're checking him out there. Hopefully nothing too serious there. Not too sure what went wrong on that one. Again, things were looking good. They were looking clean and flawless up top. Cam, he just showing tricks that we had never seen him do. Somebody's been practicing this winter.
That's what was great about that run. You know, he's on the older end of the spectrum. He's 28. Some of these guys he's competing against are 18, 19. He had the cork 7, the double whips. And judging by the crowd, it sounds like he may have stood up. No, it looks like they were cheering about something else. He's kind of taking a breather down there. The medical staff is rolling in. We've got great medical staff out here. It's not the first time we've had a rider down at Les Deux Alpes, and they always do their job.
Yeah, they do the best there. We've got the crowd doing the bit of a wave there, top to bottom. He is up, though, and he is A-okay. Hopefully nothing too serious. Hopefully he can shake that off there. He was having a little fiber, a little breather right there.
That was a really hard crash, but part of me had to believe that, you know, he was staying on the ground just out of pure disappointment. That run kind of just wiped clean. He did it all for nothing. That cork 720, that double whip, tricks that he didn't have last season, he's doing now. He's done his homework. He's just recently bought an airbag to practice those tricks. Here we get a look at that double tail whip, and he landed it perfect. You see a lot of guys slipping pedals on that jump. He just had one more trick he needed to do. It was going to be a backflip bar spin, but sometimes the bars get hung up in your knees. There's not a lot of space in that cockpit right there, and boom, wasn't able to get the bars all the way back around to straight. Oh, the right shoulder,
taking it right to the shoulder and the head there, and just hanging out for a second. And that's the hardest thing for all you fans at home when we're watching. Obviously, we don't know what happens the minute they hit the ground. Sometimes people are just taking a breather. Sometimes they are just lying there saying to themselves, what did I do that for? Why did I do that?
Well, sometimes the rider didn't even know what happened. That's usually the first question. You hit your head, you go up, what trick was I trying?
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to be like, wait, it wasn't the cork 7 or the double whip that I've been working feverishly on the last couple months. It was the flip bar. Oh, man.
Yeah, I've done that a million times into the airbag, but great to see Yannick Granieri. He is A-okay. He is up. But at the top there, we have got Sam Pilgrim still sitting good on that one. You can see there, a bunch of our riders, they've been slipping pedals, having issues. Sometimes that's the name of the game in run number 1. And it's funny, Cam, some contests, every first run, locked, loaded, high scores, and then the second run we see difficulty. Today, it kind of seems like the trend, first run, riders trying to feel things out, not going perfect, which means they're gonna have to go to that second run.
And then you got a guy like Yannick Granieri just dumping it out right away. He's been practicing so hard. He's like, why would I start the contest and not do the tricks I'm practicing?
No, not at all. Well, looking at the next rider up in the top there, another one of the French homeboys. He got 5th at Joyride in 2014. Louis Ribot, he is our next rider to drop in.
You got to remember, too, this is a world-class field. You see a lot of French riders in here. It's not because this event is in France. There's no free pass you can get from being local. These guys earn their spot in here. You see all the French riders in here. That's because slopestyle is real big in this country these days.
There's not a local stamp. Well, let's see what the local can do here on the first drop.
Louis Ribot going for toboggan, keeping it smooth and simple off that first skinny drop. Small whale tail. Whoa, cannonball, taking both feet off, putting both hands on the seat. Complete separation from the bike. Tail up on the hip. Trick jump's gonna be a perfect backflip tail, right to the pedals, carrying speed into that road gap. The toughest feature on the course to trick. Tuck no hander, getting something in there. Next trick jump, under flip, watching the landing go by the whole time as he's flipping underneath his bike.
He's got the style between the jumps there.
Go 360 toboggan, he loves the toboggan in this run. Toboggan up into the whale tail. Backflip out. 2 more chances. What will Louis Ribot bring? Transferring backflip tuck no hander. He's got to make it to the right side of that landing. And another backflip to finish things off for Louis Ribot.
Solid first around there, Louis Ribot putting it together. He's safe, folks. He is safe. He is good at the finish there.
Man, he feels so good too, man. He watched his buddy, Yannick Granieri. They ride together a lot. He saw his buddy go down, And, you know, he was thinking, I need to not do that. I need to land all my tricks and get through there with a smooth run to be able to kind of experiment a little bit in the second run.
It's always a hard one to shake off, but look at that cannonball, full extension on all limbs.
And that was an opposite 360 out of that small whale tail. The cannonball was great. That's kind of a really difficult trick to do in the wind, so no pun, he's throwing caution in the wind, trying the tricks that are way harder to do when you got that air moving around and changing the trajectory of your wheels. A lot of straight backflips in there. He's going to be wanting to kind of throw some variations in on the next run, but there's something to be said for getting a smooth one in the bag.
Well, waiting on the score right now, Louis Rabot hanging out there. What are the judges going to say on that one? We saw 3 tricks the exact same, the toboggan there. Definitely a safety trick on that. But if you do it too many times, if you do kind of one trick more than once, that was where deductions will happen. What are the judges going to say? 47.75, good enough for 6th place right there for Louis Rabot on run number 1.
I did like the variety in that run, though. You don't see too many people doing the cannonball, which is that trick where you get completely off the bike, you hold on to the seat with both hands, your feet are flailing off by themselves. I liked how he's kind of stepping outside the box a bit.
Yeah, throwing down the Cam Zing signature trick that we've seen him so many times. Well, talking about breakout rides, the 2014 Rookie of the Year, Nikolai Rogatkin. Let's get in touch and in personal with him right now.
Leading up was quite a roller coaster ride for me last year. Massive crash in practice, one of the biggest crashes I've ever had. Somehow walked it off and was able to do a pretty sweet run.
Final run for Nikolai Rogatkin.
Huge Superman secret.
London front flip. Triple
The real game when you're competing is with yourself, because it's your run that you have to do and your score that you have to get. I love sending in, I love pushing myself because that's the best thing, you know, progression and you know, pushing your limits.
All I can say is wow after watching that, Cam. Rookie of the Year last year, but he is making a breakout here this year, and he is on the cusp of his first win.
He's really getting it figured out. He came from BMX, but he's, you know, strategizing a different way for slopestyle now that he's had a couple years on the tour. He's doing the cash roll and the Cork 720 in the same run, 720 rotations on different axes, kind of like what you'd see in ski and snowboarding. So he may be a BMXer, but he's dipping into inspiration from all different sports.
Let's see what he has for us here. Tail whip on this first drop.
Tail whip being the incredibly tiny, skinny first drop. Huge amplitude on the Superman C grab. Oh, 360 tail whip out of the whale tail. A double whip on the tiny hip. He's doing some tricks that you would not expect on those small features. Cash roll!
Yes!
Perfect landing. If he could do a Cork 7 and a cash roll in the same run, that's how you get the points. Tuck no hander on the road gap coming in. You got to see him on this boosty jump. 1, 2, 3, triple tail whip for Nikolai Rogatkin. This is a heater of a run. Backflip on the spine coming into the large whale tail. Going bar spin up. Double tail whip out of the whale tail. Can he hold it together and get enough speed to finish this run? Sometimes you just need to straight air. Oh no, he's not gonna have the speed for the last step down.
It came undone. Oh my God, friends. Are we just getting a taste of what is to come if he can put it together?
Oh, it's amazing to see this kid put together a run. He has the eye of the tiger. No matter what happens, he wants to hit that next jump. His feet were off for half of that berm, and he was still pedaling, trying to make it into this second to last feature.
Never say die, never give up. Nicholas Rogatkin. Oh my gosh, look at him right there.
Man, the crowd is going nuts for him. He threw down the gauntlet in that run.
I was gonna say, everybody else up at the top must be just having shivers up their spine, because if he could put that together top to bottom, they need to bring more than their A game. They need to bring their A+ game. They need to bring more than they've ever brought to the table.
Man, I can't wait to see that replay. That triple tail up, how high he was, the amplitude, the degree of difficulty of the trick, the execution. He had it all embodied in that one move. Let's go back to the top and see how this run started out. Superman C-grab into the small whale tail, 360 tail whip out. There was no dull moment in this run.
No, not at all. Bringing the big toys to the sandbox here.
There's the end of the cash roll. landing completely straight. He did have a couple crashes on that trick in practice, but able to iron out the details in the final run. Double whip out of that whale tail is so tough. The step down aspect of it makes it so difficult. But losing the pedals was what caused him to not really have enough speed to clear that jump without having to pedal and push, and then losing pedals again once he landed on it.
Well, Nikolai Rogatkin, we will see him in run number 2. He's going to shake off this first run, 11th place. That just doesn't look good beside his name. He is looking too strong here this year. Again, he got second in Rotorua earlier this year.
Nikolai, you had the run going, including that triple whip. Just where did things go wrong?
I don't know. I just things kind of went wrong after the step down. I double whipped it, and for some reason one of my feet came off, and I tried to crank it to this next one. I didn't think I had enough speed, so tried to jump it, and yeah, just wind blew me a little in the air, and that's where it all ended. But yeah, it happens.
You told me earlier that you have to be 100% precise on this course. Is that true with especially that bottom part and combining every jump and trick?
Yeah, you know, I made a little mistake on the drop, so yeah, the next jump just wasn't possible. So.
All right, well, you have one more run, so best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Okay. Well, thank you very much there, Tina. We were hanging out with Nikolai Rogatkin. We are going to have to see him in that next run. Nothing changing on our leaderboard right there. Mitch Chubby sitting in third, Medigani in second, and Sam Pilgrim still sitting in that number 1 spot with 78.50. Well, Cam, we're getting into the big names, into the nitty-gritty. 6 more riders to go in run number 1.
Simon Godzik, the next rider up out of Poland. Look at that, he's running 2 brakes on his bike. You don't see too many guys running a front brake, but he's got some tricks that you can only do if you have a front brake. Let's see if he throws any of those out of the bag today.
That will be interesting to see. He got 5th in Les Deux Alpes last year. His top result, 5th overall in the FMB 2014 standings. He's riding from Poland. Probably not many mountains there. Probably a little flatter than what we're seeing here in the Alps.
Yeah, you know, these guys coming from the non-mountainous regions just really making it happen. You got to travel sometimes to get to the mountains. His brother rides BMX, so he's got that influence, riding with his brother, and then he's the guy who's been interested in mountain biking, so he goes on trips. He was at a Rampage last year doing it up. Yeah. Oh, there we go. He's starting off with a tail up on that skinny top drop. High amplitude, landing low into the small whale tail with a backflip, not getting a trick out of that, but a 450 truck driver on the hip. First straight trick jump, it's gonna be a front flip bar spin for Simon Godzik. Holy cow, we see front flips, but it's not very often we see a variation like that. That's a really high scoring move, the front flip with the bar spin. Now, linking it up with a backflip with a bar spin, kind of just getting that variety score going both directions with the bar spin variation, backflip, one-footed can-can on the spine. And I can't wait to see him on this next trick jump. He kind of surprises us sometimes with tricks that you don't traditionally see from everybody. Cork 720! Oh, man!
Getting boost on that into another stratosphere.
Man, just as I was saying, we couldn't predict what trick he was going to do. He went for the trick of the year of 2015, the Cork 720. That's a new one in his bag. He knew he had to learn it. Still maybe not 100% dialed in, but I did see him doing it in practice, so I know he has it figured out. It just didn't go his way on that attempt.
He does have it there. Again, look at this there, 450 truck there, getting that looking smooth.
Yeah, a bunch of really cool flip variations. Having that front flip bar spin, having the back flip bar spin. Straight air into the whale tail isn't going to help him, but the backflip tabletop definitely is. Definitely increases the point value, even just throwing in a tabletop. And there is your Cork 720. Just being a little bit off axis, going straight to the knee. Hopefully he didn't tweak that thing and we can see him for a second run.
No, not at all there. Knowing with those straight airs, he had to do something big, but 16, good enough for 13th. Not enough right there. But we are down into the core riders. We are down into our final few for run number 1. All right, which means Simon Godzik has dropped in The next guy on course, he got third here last year. He's been competing all weekend long. He was in DSNS. That is right, Sam Reynolds is in the gate.
He was talking the other day about how he grew up watching Crankworx, and he feels like it's so amazing to be a part of it. And he actually stood on the podium here last year. And I remember how over the moon he was. He stood on the podium again yesterday, getting second in DSNS. Let's see if he can do it again in slopestyle. Bar spin off the top, skinny drop. Going into the small whale tail, backflip tuck no hander, linking it right up to a tail whip. Start things off right, getting the style points with the tabletop on the hip. Now stuff gets real with the trick jump. Backflip tail whip, coming into the road gap. Will he trick the road gap? Going for that tuck no hander, getting something in there to fill the void. Oh, the no footed can no hander. So hard to do in the wind. There we go, 360 over the spine. Tuck no hander up into the big whale tail. Backflip down. All right, he surprised us with that. Nothing can. What has he got on this jump? A double tail whip.
It's coming together, Cam. It's coming together.
He got the pedals and backflip tuck no hander on the last step down. That's exactly what he needed to do to put the last little nail in that run.
That is right, folks. Sam Reynolds linking it together, top to bottom there.
Do you get style points for your 80s shades?
Well, I don't know. You should get some style points, but you're definitely going to get style points with this trick combo. Backflip tuck, no-hander in, tail whip out.
I like how that run just progressively ramped up. Started out with some stuff that's a little more stock, still really difficult to execute, but then going right into more difficult things like the backflip tail. We saw the tuck, no-hander on the road gap. But here's my favorite part of the run. Coming completely separated from the bike, no foot can with the feet, hands off the bars, just like he did with that backflip no-hander to finish off. You can see him shake his head. He is so stoked.
If you had a serious tailwind, that bike would fly away from you there, but he kept it within his grasp. Well, we will have to wait and see what the judges say. Is the podium within his grasp, or is that #1 spot? Can he knock out his best friend off the top step of the box?
That is one of those runs you could potentially see hop into the top 4 here.
Okay, what are the judges gonna say here on run #1? Is 72 good enough for second place?
There we go. You know what was huge about that run? I think what did it for him was taking his hands off on the flip on that last step down. Everybody's flipping it. You do a variation, and the judges will reward.
So there we go. Sam Reynolds popping up into second spot with a 72. So the run's getting a little bit closer to his buddy, Sam Pilgrim, up in that #1 with a 78.
Man, this is deja vu from DSNS. You got 2 Great Britain riders sitting in the top 2 spots.
All right, well, this guy got second last year. He can ride amazing when there is a little bit of wind. He is from Belgium. He is 21. Thomas Genon.
Tommy G, the king of consistency. We were talking about him earlier in the pre-show. This is his first time riding a slopestyle bike in a diamond event. He's traditionally ridden a hardtail. You see a lot of these guys starting to ride the full suspension bike, especially on these rougher courses. But like we said before, the king of consistency. Watch his composure. Watch how he packs so much into one run.
Let's see what he can pack into this first drop. 360 there.
Spinning that thing is so hard to trick. To spin it, you got to make sure you don't go off the skinniness. Backflip tuck no hander in, 360 tuck no hander. I love how those tricks complement each other. There we go with the 270 tail up on the hip. Cork 720 on the first jump. You see how early he spotted his landing. He's gonna get the execution points for that. Oh, tail up on the road gap. Backflip tuck no-hander. For a second, I thought he was gonna miss the variation. Thank goodness he got those hands off. That's what he needs to do.
You gotta get the combos, getting the 3 there.
Opposite 360 on the spine, rolling right into the big whale tail, missing the trick up, but making up for it with a click 360 table, down the step down, out of the whale tail. Second to last feature, going for the tail whip. I know he wanted a little bit more there, but he's keeping things smooth. One last jump. Oh, a double whip! Oh!
Throwing it down, Cam!
Oh, that explains why he didn't double whip that second to last jump, because he was going to do it on the harder feature. That's like what we were talking about in the pre-show. Do the harder trick on the less likely feature. Get those points.
Something was telling me he wanted double whip on that final big trick booter, and something even bigger on the bottom. But again, thinking on the fly, not letting that wind affect him right there.
I think he wanted something else on that straight tail up down there. We're going to look at that in a bit. We got the
look at that style. Look at that style. This is what he's known for.
This is that composure we were talking about. Watch his landings. Boom. The whole body absorbs, arms and legs at the same time. Going tail up on the road gap, and you see a lot of guys slipping pedals on that. Not Tommy G. Backflip, really stretching the hands out on that tuck no-hander, getting the variation. He did straight tail up. I think he was looking for another trick after the tail up. I saw what he was doing in practice. But here was the banger of the run, the double tail up down the step down. So much more difficult to do when the lip is higher than the landing.
Yeah, look at that style, catching it early. Variation, execution, overall impression. Those are all the things that he is doing well, and he's doing very good for the judges. What do the judges say for this?
Oh, man.
The suspense is killing. Oh, my God, we have a new leader.
Yes.
82.50. Tommy G, you're at the top of the leaderboard.
So tough to compete with the composure of Tommy G.
All right, well, let's see what Tommy G has to say right now.
That's right, Tommy, you are our new leader. How close was that to the run you wanted to do?
Well, it was almost this, but due to the bad condition and the stress and a lot of waiting and a lot of crashes before me, I tried to chill a little bit more, but didn't quite get the whip to no end I wanted. But well, yes, I'm stoked to be at the bottom, not injured, and have the chance to do a second one.
And you have one solid score under your belt and another run to go. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Tina. You can see that it's just some insight into what the riders are facing up top right there, Cam. It's not just hanging out, high fives at the top. There is a serious game. There is a title at stake, and you got to get over all those adverse conditions.
Yeah, he was spilling his guts, just really describing how nerve-wracking it is to be at the top of that course, just waiting for your run. You know, Thomas Genon is on such a ridiculous level that even a run like that, he's not 100% satisfied with.
Well, with that, he is our defending champion here from Les des Alpes. Dropping in next, the man who's got amplitude, the man who can go bigger than all, Anthony Messere.
There we go. He wants to stand on top of that podium just like he did last year here in France. It was his first huge win on the Diamond Series, his second podium. He wants a third right now.
You know he is going to want to go for it right there. What has he got for us here, folks?
Anthony Messere start things off with the tail up. A little bit of a bobble, maybe losing pedals, but recovering nicely. Backflip bar spin, getting things off to a great start. Double truck driver out of that whale tail. Oh, man. Tail upping that hip. That was an opposite tail up on that hip. Oh, front flip. Getting the variety, going all different directions. Not getting a trick on that road gap, but he's got to put that out of his mind and just move on to the next jump. A straight backflip, once again, kind of just keep moving on and get to that next trick.
Getting through the danger zone.
Oh, there he goes. He's still on fire. 360 tail up on the spine, landed nice and low. Bar spin up, straight flip down. He's got two more jumps for you. Let's see how high he goes on this jump.
Oh!
Boost. Oh, man, from my angle, he was like 15 feet off the takeoff. Backflip, bar spin on the step down.
Yes, he lands it and brings it together, Kim, linking that up top to bottom.
Got that flip variation on the step down. That's so key looking at how the judges are scoring right now.
And getting that bar spin so early on that as well, on that flip.
Yeah, he's running that mechanical gyro as well, you can see. So he had a pretty gnarly incident at Crankworx a couple years back where he actually had to stop his run, hike back up because he realized that he wound his cables too much. Doesn't have to think about that anymore. He's got the gyro and he can spin those bars, whip that bike as many times as he wants.
So looking like right out of the gate, slipped a pedal, and that kind of set things off here. You can tell he's rushing his tricks a little bit, not letting the course come to him.
That run started out similar to how his run started out last year, except he ramped it up because in 2015 he did a double truck driver out of that whale tail, nailing that front flip. So hard to do. 360 tail up right to the pedals and going classic Anthony Messere style straight to the moon on his flat spin 360. But here's what really did it, capping off that run of the backflip bar spin on the step down.
How can somebody so not tall in stature, but let's see what the score says. Is it gonna boost him to the top? Oh, 67.25, so good enough for 5th place, but he's won here before, Cam. He knows what he needs to do on that second run.
Yeah, sitting in 5th, definitely nothing to shake a stick at, especially when you looked at that run, you know there's a couple opportunities for him to ramp it up a bit. He's actually sitting in a good spot because you know he's got some more in the tank.
All right, well, the guy who back in Rotorua said, you know what, I want to make sure nobody else wins that Triple Crown. Well, he got his wish. He won in Rotorua. We have got Brett Rheeder up, our second last rider here for run number 1.
Whoa, Brett Rheeder, the only guy in the running for the Crankworx Triple Crown. If we haven't mentioned it before, you have to win all 3 of the Crankworx Slopestyle events to be able able to take that Triple Crown Championship title.
First of its kind, and he has got all the pressure on the world, but really it's himself. This guy is a perfectionist. It's not anybody else. He doesn't worry about what anybody else is doing. It is all up to him. He wants to put together that best run, and we've seen him rise before. We've seen him rise to the top when conditions are difficult. When other riders fail, he is there to jump to the top.
If only we knew what was going on inside that head right there. The strategy it takes to compose these runs is just ridiculous.
Well, because there is so much on stake, he is hanging out there, just making sure that he has the optimal conditions, because there is one more rider after him, and it is his biggest adversary. So you know that Rheeder wants to make sure everything is perfect. He doesn't want to leave anything to chance here. He is going to wait for when that wind just goes to the right amount, so that when he drops in, he can link it all together with his combos, Cam.
You know Brett has his plan. He knows what he needs to do, but he also knows that Brandon gets to watch his run and drop in after Brett. So Brett really wishing that he got to drop in last so he knew what to do, but right now he just needs to focus on his own plan and executing his goal.
It is almost like a chess match. We've seen it all throughout practice. They're always, it's maybe not obvious to the regular person, but they are always checking out what each other is up to. It's not a what's going on here or this or that. They are trying to see what each other has, and Semenuk has the card up his sleeve. So our judges hanging out down there. Our established panel. Yeah, we chatted to Colin Duncan earlier on today there. Can't really tell. He's got that camo shirt on there, blending in.
They are all smiles right now, man. I'd be chewing my fingernails down to the bone if I was sitting in that judge's tower.
Dude, I wouldn't have any fingers left. I'd be just chewing it down to the mitt of my palm here. I don't envy their position right there. I don't envy the fact that they have to do what they do. But the thing is, they are the best in the world. That's why we have them. They have the structure. They have a way how they do the judging. It's not just by chance. It's not just by, hey, that kind of looked cool. No, there is a formula, and they follow it to a T.
Man, I can't wait to see Brett Rheeder's run. The fact that we're all sitting here and we get to watch his run right now, it doesn't happen that often. It happens a few times a year, a handful of times a year, and not every one of those starts has Brandon Semenuk breathing down his neck right behind him, wanting to take the title from him.
No, not at all. Again, I feel the suspense coming. Oh my God!
Brett Rheeder starting this run off with a bang. Backflipping the flat skinny drop. That thing's only about 4 feet tall. Backflip tail up in. Double truck driver out of the whale tail. Brett Rheeder on course, opposite 450 on the hip. Brett Rheeder coming into the trick jump. Front flip, bar spin landing. Perfect. What's he got on the road gap? Brett Rheeder road gap, opposite tail whip. Coming right in this trick jump, cork 720. Absolutely perfect execution on that. Man, if he can hold this run together, this is a banger. Going backflip, bar spin on the spine. Tail whip up into the whale tail. Truck driver out. Oh man, I can't wait to see him on this jump. He's got combos up his sleeve. Backflip, bar spin, a top no-hander.
One more jump.
Step down, backflip, opposite tail.
Oh, he does it!
Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh,
I have not seen a backflip opposite tail whip on a step down. He did the regular flip whip on the step up and the backflip off whip on the step down. That's ridiculous.
Doing the unthinkable and just putting it into play there, shaking his head. Oh my God, what is going through this guy's head? Oh my gosh, what is going to be going through Semenuk's head up there?
Man. All eyes on Brett Rheeder right now, but all mind is on Brandon Semenuk. What is he going to do to answer this?
Look at this banger right off the back.
No, don't forget, he backflipped that start skinny drop right into the flip up, the double truck out, the opposite 450, the opposite tail up on the road gap, doing the opposites on those really difficult trick features. The cork 720 spotting his landing so early, reminiscent of how he did that in Rotorua. Another trick that he did in Rotorua that took him to the win is the backflip, bar spin, and tuck no-hander. But here's the banger. Backflip, opposite tail whip on the step down. I remember just a year ago, the banger of his run in Whistler was to flip whip out of that whale tail. Now he's doing flip oppa whips on step downs.
Well, he is looking relieved, also stressed at the same time. He is waiting for that score. What are the judges gonna have to say here? Okay, what are the judges gonna say for the Canadian rider?
Oh, I have a feeling, Tristan.
Oh my God, 93.25, your new leader!
We are into the 90s. Brett Rheeder has burst the bubble.
Oh my gosh. Well, Tina, what is going on down there?
And the only athlete so far to have gotten in the 90s. Brett, how did you strategize that run? It was near textbook.
I missed a couple things. I kind of had to improvise last minute, and I made it down somehow. I feel incapable before I'm about to drop in, but somehow it just all works. I feel really good that I made it, but Brandon's at the top about to drop, and yeah, everyone knows what that means.
But that's a huge score. That's near the score that you had in Rotorua when you won. So how do you clean things up? Because you do have one more run.
Well, I'm gonna do exactly what I practiced, and yeah, hopefully I can land it if I need to.
All right, guys, Brett, one more run to go.
Thank you, Tina. A lot of feelings down there. And I would be feeling like elated. I couldn't imagine you just linked that together. He had more things. That looked like it was planned out to a T-cam.
Man, there's a couple of things I loved about that interview. He dumped so much info out, exactly what was going on through his head. He said he feels so incapable when he drops in. It reminds me, the drummer of the Foo Fighters always says he feels like he's the worst drummer ever, then he gets on stage and it just happens. But he also touched on the fact that, well, Brandon's going to drop in here really soon, and you know what that means.
Well, we do know what that means. These two riders, Brandon Semenuk, Brett Rheeder, currently tied for the most diamond wins on the tour ever, 4 wins each. So that means the 24-year-old rider from Squamish, BC, 3-time FMB champ, he is dropping in next. Brandon Semenuk.
Oh, is Brandon gonna be able to answer this run? We saw Brett Rheeder start out flat drop backflipping that tiny little, I swear that thing's like 4 feet tall, about 7 inches wide, and that was something that was so new just a couple years ago, being able to backflip at all off a flat takeoff, but this one's like 7 inches wide and it's so small, it's basically like flipping off a curb.
Well, leave it up to the Canadians to know how to get across a skinny and throw down a big trick, but what is going on in this guy's head? That is the question, and as the helmet says, revel in the chaos. Well, he is in the moment. There is chaos all around him.
Brett Rheeder talked about how he had to improvise. I love that. Sometimes things don't go as planned. You got to think, well, I'm going to fly by the seat of my pants. Brandon Semenuk dropping in, trying to answer Brett Rheeder. He's got the flat drop backflip on the tiny little... Oh my gosh. 3-whip into the small whale tail. Opposite truck driver. Oh, whoa. Just barely holding on. Opposite tail whip on the hip. He's got to regroup right here. He did not slip a pedal. Oh, flip, double tail.
Oh my gosh.
Landing so low, but not even slipping a pedal. This is classic Brandon Semenuk composure. Flipping the road gap right into that Cork 720.
Yes, he is. He's doing it. Oh my God, he's tricking that.
Bar spin in the hip, tricking jumps that aren't even part of the course, essentially. Back to the bar spin on the spine. Tail up into the whale tail. Truck driver down. 2 more features for Brandon Semenuk to answer Brett Rheeder's huge score. Tuck no-hander to tail whip. Oh, a trick that took him to the lead a couple years ago here. 1 more feature. Backflip tail whip for Brandon Semenuk to cap off this run.
Yes, he did. Brandon Semenuk putting it together.
Oh, man.
Cam, I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack up here watching those two rides. Look at that camaraderie right there. Big hug between those two guys. Knowing that they didn't go to plan for each of them, but had respect before each of their riders there.
The mutual respect is so awesome. It's like, all right, look, we both did our runs. We both saw the cards we've been holding for the last few days. Let's go into round 2. Here we go. We had the 3-whip in. He almost threw it all away right there with the opposite truck driver out of the little whale tail.
Well, keeping the feet on the pedals there, but again, look at this right here, bringing it around. Look at how delayed that was.
Man, so many times he almost threw it away, but he completely recovered. Flipping that road gap, almost landing sideways, but pulling it back straight at the last minute. This Cork 720, though, was textbook from the get-go. This is a trick that took him to the top step of the podium a couple years ago here, barely slipping a pedal.
Oh, is that even a legit slip of the pedal? He didn't even touch the ground. It just didn't stay on it.
And that classic way to finish a run, Brandon Semenuk's been doing that for a long time, but now on a step down the backflip tail. But Brett Rheeder had that backflip opposite tail.
Well,
how will the judges feel about that?
You said it. What are the judges going to say? The suspense is killing me. I want to see what the judges have to say. What do we got? What do we got, France? 89.25, second place.
Holy cow. Okay, what are we gonna see now?
Oh my God. That means Brandon Semenuk will be dropping second last. Well, let's go down and get a word with the man who had a few issues, Brandon Semenuk with Tina.
And Brandon, you just kept playing through from jump to jump, combo to combo. What were you telling yourself that entire run?
Just willing my way down the hill. It's a long run. It's tiring. So just, yeah, a couple bobbles that wasn't good, but I got to clean that up. And yeah, just try to keep it going as best I could.
You know, we had that wind hold, and a lot of guys went through and took some practice runs. I noticed you only took one practice run, so you've had quite a bit of weight going last before that run. Do you feel like now that you've had that one run done, you can go back up and approach the second run in a Brandon Semenuk way?
Yeah, hopefully. Like usually, you know, you wait forever and ever to go, and then you get your first run of the way, but then the adrenaline just sticks in after that. And second runs are usually a little bit more like strong right off the start, so hopefully that'll help me.
All right, guys, it's going to be a great second run.
Thank you, Tina.
Thanks, Brandon.
Cam, the stage has been set, dude. They both landed their runs, not perfect. There is room for improvement, and they are going to be dropping second last and last rider here on their second and final run. What do they do? It's a chess match.
Having Brett say that his run wasn't exactly what he had planned, he had to improvise, but still being in the lead, and having Brandon kind of describe his run as just hanging on, trying to push through. He had a couple situations where he almost fell, but just in true Brandon Semenuk style, making a crash, potential crash situation into a perfectly landed trick.
Well, looking at the top three there, they have all won a Crankworx World Tour stop before. Tommy G in third with that 82.50. Brandon Semenuk with an 89.25, and the only rider to be in the 90s, a 93.25, Brett Rheeder.
It just goes to show that experience is key. The top three guys sitting in the hot seat position right now have all won a Crankworx stop, like you said. Just goes to show that they learned something along the way, and they're still at the top of the game.
Well, we are far from a two-horse race here. There is so many riders that know they can clean it up. They can do more in that second run. One run done and in the bag, one more to go. All right, well, you're looking at the hillside there. I couldn't think of an any better setting for us to be here today. Crankworx Les des Alpes, and it is your slopestyle final. One run in the bag. You can see there the fans. I wish you guys could see at home what the fans have been doing. They have been going nuts anytime it is a French rider on course here. And it's just a beautiful day, not a cloud really in the sky there. Blue sky all around, Cam. The stage has been set. Look at this, though. This is the analyzer. Red Bull, go online, check it out. You're not going to want to miss what is going on right now, or even if you want to get a replay, you can pick on any specific run.
Yeah, it's great for people who missed the live broadcast, but also there's so much happening so fast. I know I'm going to go on there later and just try to see some of those tidbits that were so amazing and kind of pick them apart again. Just remember why these guys got those scores.
The fact that you can share with your friends on social media what is going on, that is the coolest thing. Hashtag Crankworx, hashtag L2A forever, and of course, hashtag Red Bull TV. Those are your big three. If you're at home, make sure you guys are tagging that stuff. For everybody hanging out here on the French countryside here in the Alps, and what a day. I can't keep talking about it because the stage is set, dude. Like, it is a storybook going on right now, but how is it going to end? We have one more chapter, and that is the final run.
We're only halfway through, and there's so many guys who had great runs that just kind of the wheels fell off halfway through, and then the top two, obviously, that's going to be a grudge match down to the end. Having Brett Rheeder just really slide into the hot seat, doing some tricks that we didn't expect, the backflip opposite tail up on the last step down. Brandon always does the flip up on the last step down, but having Brett kind of just inch it up to the next level of difficulty doing that oppo one, what does that make Brandon have to think for his strategy for the second run?
Yeah, exactly. The coolest thing for me, though, the fact that Brett Rheeder came over, gave Semenuk a hug at the bottom, as much as they battling it out, as much as, you know, they are trying to go for that same title, they're trying to control their own destiny, they still got time and they still got that relationship where it's like, dude, It didn't go good for you. It didn't go good for me. Let's put on a show here for run number 2.
It's the epitome of mutual respect. You know those guys probably don't talk very much during the week leading up because they're all trying to think of a way to edge out the other guy. But when the cards are out on the table, both of them stomp their runs. It's mutual respect. Give a hug, dude, nice run.
Well, looking at the hillside there, you guys have heard a lot of what we've got to say, but I want to know what you have to say, Tina. What's going on down there? You have one of the best seats in the house.
It is a great seat. I am not complaining. You know, I've been standing down here and obviously talking to the athletes, and my perspective is that they're just hungry. They're not satisfied with what they've been able to do so far, and not hungry to necessarily get on top of that podium, just hungry to perfect their own runs, and that includes Brett Rheeder. I mean, he had that huge score at 93.25, and he told me I need to clean it up. Obviously, still very worried about Brandon Semenuk, who, like you said, just willed it through that first run. You know, and I have to bring up the wind hold that we had earlier. I asked some of the guys if that's affecting them at all, and Yannick Granieri said no. You know, once you start down that course, you don't feel it. The adrenaline kicks in. Nikolai Rogatkin basically said the same thing, and he was more frustrated with himself on his mistake. So, like I said, guys, I just am sensing hunger, and you know, they're not satisfied with what they've been able to do so far.
Yeah, well, you nailed it there. Some riders waiting more, some riders being comfortable with that. Not an easy one for all of our athletes here, Cam.
I love to hear Tina talk about how they were saying that they're just hungry for more. A true champion's never really fully satisfied with what they've accomplished. You even hear Brett saying, the wheels fell off. I didn't do exactly what I wanted to do. I had to improvise. And even though he's in the hot seat with a 93, he still feels like he could have done more.
That was what it was.
Well, I feel like he could relax a little bit more, appreciate the moment. But you can see the riders back up top there, checking things over. Well, it takes a lot to get to the top step of the box. And let's check in with what it takes here with Brandon Semenuk and Schramm.
So, you know, to have rain like this on the contest day, it's a little bit nerve-wracking because not really sure how the course is going to ride. You know, I think it's just running through everybody's mind. It's looking sick. Dirt's drying up, boys are getting pumped, they're gearing up, and yeah, excited to watch the show. It's going to be rowdy.
Okay, whenever.
Yep.
Woo!
Super stoked, first run, pulled it. Pretty happy with that.
Took my helmet off, and then like the left side of my eye just like kind of went blurry. Just wanted to do another run. I wanted to stomp a run because it's so disappointing just ending it like that.
You got to think about the safety, and there's just the beginning of the year, so made the right call and pulled out.
Hands down my favorite video from New Zealand there, Cam, and it gives me the chills, and I love the fact that Schramm there, they do what they need to do. They make such amazing videos documenting your athletes, and it's not just what Brandon does there, it's just what goes through with all of the athletes there.
Yeah, that video definitely gave some perspective into what goes on in these guys' heads, and you know, Brandon definitely had a struggle in Rotorua, and I would not say that he's struggling right now. In his mind, he probably feels like it's a struggle because he wants to be in first place, but that run he put down on, you know, if Brett Rheeder wasn't here, that would be a shoo-in for the first place run. But, you know, Brandon Semenuk inspired Brett Rheeder to become Brett Rheeder, and now Brandon's got to deal with that.
Yeah, the guy that he inspired, the guy that he mentored at a young age is now the guy that's pushing him to his limits, and it's going to push him here on his second run. But we've got one run in the bag, and there has been so much going on. Check out all these highlights here for run number 1.
Oh, I can't wait to relive this. Tommy G, the king of consistency, delivering on exactly what we would expect out of him. Watch him land, arms and knees just acting as another few inches of suspension.
Well, he is a tall rider. He is lanky on that bike.
And it was all about the double tail up for his run on that step down. Brandon Semenuk, really technical, three-whipping into that thing because it's very narrow. You see people falling out of that in years past, but he landed right in the middle and backed it up with all the rest of the tricks in his run.
Yeah, you can see there. I love that 7. I think he has the best 7 in the game. And then the flip whip there.
He never looks like he's struggling on that 7. Brett Rheeder coming right out of the gate with that flat drop backflip on that little tiny flat drop. And this was where he improvised. He was trying a different trick all week on that jump, but he went back to his old faithful, the flip bar to tuck, and then the flip off a whip on the step down. Like, give me a break. That's next level.
That is insane. That is crazy. You can see the riders hanging out up there. Again, that was just your 1, 2, 3. The thing is, though, we have a whole nother run, and there is a whole list of riders. So here is our drop-in order, reverse order from run number 1. So we take the ranking from run number 1, flip it upside down. We know it says Bazette on there. We're not going to see Antoine. He is out today, which means our first rider in will be Simon Paget.
Yeah, Simon Paget is the rookie on the circuit right now, and really excited to see him on there. Carson Storch as well, up here on the Diamond Series for the 2nd year in a row, and just really looking to make his mark.
Yeah, well, you can see the list there as they go through the pack of Canadians, the 4 of them there. They'll be dropping in one after another, and then at the top step after run number 1. But what can Sam Pilgrim do, Cam? Does he have anything to say about this battle?
Well, do you remember what he said at the end of his run? Tina said, hey, what are you going to do next run? He's, well, now I can get crazy. I've got a safety run in the bag, and I can throw caution to the wind and see what kind of weird stuff he can make happen. So I'm expecting some variations. He's got some different variations that I've seen him do this year that he hasn't done in years past. So I think 2nd run is the time for that.
So there you go. 20 riders, 2 runs. Our judges working on a score of 1 to 100. Again, 100 being perfect. First run, they're usually figuring out their range there of what's going on. But our first rider that will be dropping in on run number 2, Simon Godziak. He's from Poland. He got 5th last year at Les des Alpes. But can he improve on this? He is sitting right down at the bottom at 18th. You know that's not what he came here for.
Simon Godziak went down on that cork 720 at the bottom of the course. Can he iron that out now? Starting off with that tail up on that small drop again. Flip in. 360, clicking the table out of the small whale tail, going 450 bar once again, making a couple adjustments to his run. Really strong this time. Front flip bar spin again, even smoother than first run.
It's looking clean, it's looking fresh.
Going for a 1-foot table on the road gap, just got to get something in there. This huge trick jump, it's going to be a backflip bar spin, catching the bar super early and stretching it out to slow down the rotation. Starting outside saddle this time. Oh, that was awesome. He might have done that last run too. Starting out side saddle with the backflip, putting the foot back over onto the pedal on the way down. Flip table, getting the variation out of the whale tail once again. And here's the jump where he had the problem before. He gets the cork 720 this time. One more trick. He didn't make it this far last run. Oh, and he's not going to make it that far again this run. Oh, too bad. He just kind of lost pedals, maybe slid out a little bit. He landed the trick. He got the hard part out of the way.
What happened, Cam? It seemed like he should have been fine there.
He just didn't have the speed. I saw him kind of fiddling with his pedals. I don't know if maybe his chain got jammed or he lost traction. Something happened when he was a little bit slightly off camera there.
Oh my, he had the run together. He had it going top to bottom, and it's the cruel fate. The final jump is where it ends there.
The crazy thing about the way the contests are now is if you missed the last feature back in the day, you might get a somewhat respectable score, but now if you miss one of the 12 features, it's game over.
He's not. You can't say he's going to improve on much of that 18th place right there. There's not much place to go higher up on that when you miss a jump. Well, he jumps up to 15th there, but not really. That's not what he came here for. That's not what he was hoping to do.
Improved his first run because he got that cork 720, but without being able to finish the course, not going to jump up in one of those hot spots.
No, not at all. You got the mini leaderboard there, 1, 2, 3, 4, keeping you guys at home up to date there. As always, we want to thank you guys for tuning in and checking out all the action here. And things are just starting to heat up. This guy had a massive first run, and it all went wrong on that final jump. Can he clean it up? Can he fix it up? It is Yannick Granieri.
I was 100% not expecting to see him back up for run number 2. He drove his shoulder and head into the ground so hard on that last feature trying that backflip bar spin, but it's great to see him back up at the top. I told you before, these guys are warriors. He's been practicing so hard. He wants to put it all into one run here.
Yeah, he is a true fighter. He is not going to give up. Something tells me is probably the French fans there as well, giving him a little bit extra, and he's going through the run in his head there, going through the hand movements. What does he need to do? How does he need to land that? Again, he was flawless until that final jump and unloading tricks we hadn't seen him do before, Cam.
At the point of his first run, the runs that we had seen leading up to that, I'm pretty sure he would have gone into the hot seat. Now having all the rest of the top guys go, I'm not sure if that run would put him up there, but we've kind of seen his cards. We know what he's got, and there's a lot of room for improvement to polish it up. He's been practicing so hard. I really hope that he stomps this run.
Well, it is now or never here for Yannick Granieri. Run 2 of 2. He's up there waiting for the wind right now, eased in so he can drop in.
Yeah, the wind actually picked up as soon as he put his hands on the handlebars, so it's definitely a smart decision for him right now, just kind of being a little bit patient, waiting it out, trying to find that window.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're at the bottom of the course here, down by that final jump. They're way up at the top there, quite a ways up that French hillside, giving you an awesome view there.
Everybody on their feet for their countrymen right here,
man,
their homeboy.
Everybody at home should be on their feet. This is the final run, run 2 of 2. And that is the little log drop we keep talking about there at the start.
I can't stress enough how ridiculous it is, some of the tricks they're doing on that. Spinning off it is tough because it's so narrow, but flipping off of it is ridiculous because of how small it is.
Well, you were riding practice earlier on today. Was it that tricky? Was it like, whoa, man, I'm kind of happy that I don't have to step up to my game here to flip this or spin off of it?
Oh, yeah, fun to ride, but the tricks these guys are doing on this course, like, forget about it.
Well, you've almost got the best job now, dude. You get to go ride, you get to go hang with your buddies, ride these amazing one-off courses.
I can't complain, man.
And then you have the safety of hanging out down here with me in the booth.
I love slopestyle so much, man. Just such a big fan of it and the level it's at right now, so just excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, so we've got a wind hold right now. Yannick Granieri looking like he's about to drop in, though.
Pulled the trigger. He's dropping. He's got an X up off that tiny little start drop. Going front flip once again into the whale tail. How is he doing this after that crash he had in run 1? Truck driver out, tough no-hander on the hip. Can he get that cork 720? He landed it perfect in the first run. Looks to be on point.
Yeah.
Nice. Perfect two-wheel touchdown. He tailed whipped this thing last time. Does he got it again? Perfect pedals. Looking right at home on this course. Backflip tail whip. Once again, perfect pedals. Yannick Granieri right back up to speed from where he left off. Forward flat spin X up. Bar spin into the big whale tail. Backflip out. All right, can he get this double tail whip?
Two more jumps.
It was so perfect first run. Double tail whip, perfect once again. Here's where all went wrong in the first run. Can he stomp it? Backflip straight.
He does it.
Nice
he
work.
lands it. Cleaning it up top to bottom. Yannick Granieri.
Oh, man, he's so stoked. The first run, he did it all for nothing. The score's wiped clean when he crashed on that flip bar spin. Right now, he's like, I got to finish this run right through the finish corral. Keep it simple, the backflip. The other tricks that he packed into that run, you know, it's not really lacking much by not throwing the bars because how action-packed the whole rest of the run was.
He had so much on the go. Look at this front flip into the first big feature there. So massive.
It's so narrow, and he landed so far to the side, just flirting with disaster, but still getting the truck driver out and the tuck no-hander on the hip.
Having no problem with that, and again, so many good tricks on that one. So we're now down at the bottom. The stress of riding is over. Now it is the stress of what do the judges say? How do they think I did, and where is it going to place him here? You know he's going to want a big result, Cam. You know he's going to want that result in front of the French crowd here.
Personal goals are a huge part of it as well. He knew that he did that run, and it didn't matter. So to be able to go through the finish line and make it count, that's the personal goal that he accomplished today. We're going to see what the judges say about his score and see if he moves up into the leaderboard.
Dude, such a valid point right there. It is what you want to do. Even if the score isn't what you want, you accomplished everything that you set out to do on course there. And Yannick Granieri stoked, looking relieved at this point, but is now we are waiting on the judges here as they're trying to figure out where does this stack up? What does he got? We saw an 18.25 on run number 2. We know it's an improvement.
Oh,
80.9 80.0. Good enough for 4th place.
Perseverance pays off. I'm not sure how his right shoulder is still working. He drove it into the ground so hard, but he got back up, stomped his run, and now he's sitting in 4th place.
Yannick Granieri doing good on that first run, jumping up into 4th position there. There we go, looking at that leaderboard. Yannick Granieri in 4th. Tommy G in 3rd there. Brandon Semenuk, Brett Rheeder rounding things out. But again, we saw it in the first run, Cam. Lots of riders having issues. Yannick Granieri managed to clean things up, which means the next guy, this guy, anything can happen. He could go from 0 to hero. Let's see what Nikolai Rogakin has for us.
Never, ever count out Nikolai Rogakin. He had his issues in the first run, but we got a glimpse into what he has planned for this second run. And if he can pull it all together, come on. I can't wait to see him on this finish line step down if he makes it that far.
Insane trick combos. Here he goes, Nikolai Rogakin.
Getting the tail up off that tiny little start drop once again. Going for the huge Superman C grab, big amplitude, 360 tail up out of the small whale tail once again. Double whip. Perfect to pedals, once again taking some speed in the next jump where he did a cash roll before. Oh! Another cash roll, landing just as smooth as the first run. Tuck no-hander over the road gap, and here's where he goes high. Count him, 1, 2, 3, triple tail whip. Nikolai Rogakin on a tear. On the spine, a smooth backflip going into the big whale tail. He's going bar spin up. Can he get the double whip down? Stop it, perfect.
He
has his feet on the pedals coming in to this last section of the course. Front flip bar spin. Oh, come on, Nikolai, hold it together. Nikolai needs the speed. Double whip down.
Yes, he does it. He lands it top to bottom.
Are you kidding me?
Rogakin.
How did he get the speed to clear that last step down? Nonetheless, a double whip.
Are you kidding me? Look at that run, top to bottom.
Man, front flip bar spin on this last jump. You have to transfer so far to make to the landing.
Look at the extension there on that first one, and then just getting it out of the bowl there.
Man, it's so cool to see. We knew what he had up his sleeve because we saw almost his whole first run, but we didn't know what he had in the last 2 features.
And the cash roll, man, I never get tired of this.
No, the cash roll is the coolest looking trick. He's the only one doing it out here today. The triple tail whip, making it look like a single tail whip. And here's that front flip bar spin where he had the only bobble in his run. Perseverance paid off for him once again as he sprinted it out, got the last step down with a double tail whip. Man, just squeaking it out.
Just bringing it around there.
Let's think about the jumps that he double whipped. He double whipped all the hardest jumps, a tiny little hip, the whale tail step down, and the last dirt to dirt step down.
I just don't even know what to say there. Things are heating up here in France. And now the question is, where will this score put him? We saw what happened to Yannick Granieri crashing on run number 1. That put him in 4th there after run number 2. Nikolai, though, it is now up to the judges' hands. Is that enough to jump up into a possible podium position? What are the judges gonna say? 64.75.
Wow.
Good enough for 9th place. So again, looking like little things in there, maybe not full pedal slips, but those are deductions. We're not the professionals at this one, Cam. I thought that would have been a little bit higher, but...
And we talk about it a little bit. We talk about how huge of a factor it is slipping your pedals. Colin was talking about it at the beginning of the show, and he wasn't lying, man. That run was jam-packed. He had a tiny little bobble and maybe, you know, a couple repeats, but he was doing them all on different types of features, so I feel like it must have led back to that bobble.
Yeah, the judges, they play for keeps, man. When they say they are going to deduct something, they are going to deduct it there. So there we go. We are kind of getting into it again here in run number 2. You know, Nikolai Rogakin, after that second in Rotorua, man, the fire is going to burn strong for him before we see him again here in August. But we are looking at Logan Pete next. Again, he had his issues on run number 1 in the middle part of the course there. You know he's going to clean that up. You know he's got all the tricks to do so.
It was really cool to see him just put on a show for the crowd and finish out that run. He didn't have to. He could have sulked and gone back up to the top of the course, but he's enjoying his time out here in France, enjoying the fact that there's a whole hill full of people who are cheering him on. A ton of Logan Pete fans out here. and they want to see him stomp this second run.
How can you not be a Logan Pete fan? And again, last year, getting 4th at Joyride in Whistler, 5th in our first round of the Crankworx World Tour here, down in Rotorua. Well, it is all on him now. You know he's going to want to get some solid points. You know he's going to want to link that together.
You got to pay close attention to the direction of his rotations. He's really good at spinning opposite, and he's doing some opposite spins on some unconventional places. Definitely those intricacies that the judges like to see.
Yeah, they are looking for everything. So Logan Pete hanging out up there, waiting for that wind to calm down a little bit. Again, this is his final chance to make things right after run number 1. You want to make sure you're dropping in the best condition, in the lowest amount of wind here. It's going to be hard to not get any wind at all.
Yeah. Here we go. Looks like he's getting set to drop in.
Logan Pete dropping in now.
Logan Pete starting out his run 360 in that incredibly skinny drop. Right into a tail up into the small whale tail, getting that opposite 360 down, landing a little over-rotated, but recovering perfectly. Regular 270 bar spin on the hip. First trick jump, he's got a backflip bar spin, tucking it in, landing 2 tires perfect. The road gap, going for the banger backflip, landing right in the berm perfect. This is where it all went wrong in the first run.
Yes,
not
he got
this
it.
time. Backflip tail whip, perfect landing. Getting all the judges' categories filled there with the execution. Another opposite spin on that spine jump, tuck no-hander into the whale tail. Truck driver out, so clean.
2 more jumps to go.
Going for the combo, a tuck no-hander to tail whip, landing perfect. One more feature for Logan Pete. Backflip tuck no-hander, he got it!
He did it!
Oh man, he did exactly
Landing
what he needed to do.
He did it top to bottom. Logan Pete looking relieved at the bottom there.
That's exactly what he needed to do. He just never wiped that smile off his face. He didn't get down on himself for messing up in the first run. He went, all right, I got another chance. Let's do this.
He did not beat himself up at all. Look at that tail whip, big out of the
What we
gate
see
there.
here is an opposite rotation out, then he goes right into a regular rotating 360 bar spin. We call that the truck driver, a variation that's popular with these guys. Some of them doing an opposite as well.
That big backflip, but look at this combo. This is where it went wrong on run number 1 and stomping it on run number 2.
Like we said before, I love how he's staring at the bike. He's not even thinking about the flip at one point. Tuck no-hander to tail up, a huge combination to do on that boosty second to last feature. And he had to take his hands off on that flip. That's what the judges want to see. The straight backflips are not getting rewarded on that jump. They want to see a variation.
Look, Ma, no hands, and he did it there on that run. Logan Pete, big smile, looking relieved on that.
Look, Ma, awesome hairdo.
Yeah. Somebody get this kid a hair sponsorship. But what are the judges going to say here on run number 2? I can't wait to see. 85.75.
Oh, man, where does that put him? I can guarantee you it's not 18.
Where is that going to put third place? Good enough for 3rd place. Logan Pete jumping up on that. Let's go down into the corral and see how he's feeling.
And Logan's just acting so casual down here, but Logan, you went from a score of 22, much higher to, now you're in 3rd position. Just how redeeming is this for you?
Yeah, it's awesome. I knew I could do it, just had a little slip up on the first run, so feels great to be at the bottom. I did miss one thing on the last, but you're tired and, you know, got a little scared, but happy.
All right, well, you're sitting in 3rd right now. We've got a lot more riders to go, though, guys.
Thank you, Tina. Oh, my God. Logan Pete in 3rd place right now. Man, I just cannot wait to see if that stands there or not. Such a solid run. And there you go. There is our leaderboard. Canada sweep 1, 2, 3. Brett Rheeder, Brandon Semenuk, Logan Pete. We are in the middle of our 2nd run. So much action still to come. Well, that is the hillside right there, and that was Logan Pete just doing what he needed to do in the clutch, in clinch mode, pulling it all together, Cam. I'm on the edge of my seat right now.
Yeah, Logan, another guy saying that he kind of had to improvise a little bit in his run, not get exactly what he wanted, but you would have never known it if he didn't say it.
Well, let's get into that. Thomas Lemoyne, we saw him all weekend long, tuck no-hander off that first drop.
Thomas Lemoyne starting out strong, backflip into the small whale tail, doing it for his home country of France here. He's got the crowd behind him. Boosting real high with that nice stylish inverted Oh, man. Oh, man.
Oh, not coming around on that 7.
We saw him kind of, that trick that he did on the hip where he's doing like the inward table, he did that to start out that Quark 720, which is something that you don't see very often.
No, not at all. He is looking okay. He's sitting upright, taking off his helmet there. Again, you come up short on an under-rotated Quark 7. You are going to hit the ground. You are going to hit the ground hard, but we've got the best medical people out there, and you can see he is back up there. Our youngest competitor, Thomas Lemoyne. So much pride for the French rider here.
Thomas Lemoyne with a little bit different style than the rest of the guys out there. He's got the zebra print pants, going a little bit heavy metal. You know, he looks super casual with the clothes he's wearing, but he's got the full face helmet. I think he might be running a mouth guard. Safety is definitely the utmost importance, but you got to be a bit fashionable as well. And if your fashion is all about zebra pants, hey, why not? Go for it.
Hey, you got to set yourself apart from everybody else, Cam, and that is the best thing with mountain biking. It is an individual sport. You've got your friends, you got everybody else, but it is only you at the end of the day, and is what you feel comfortable in. And in the old pants there, if that's what you feel comfortable in, is zebra pants, all the power to him.
Look at this, man. The crowd is so behind him that even after that really hard slam, he's bleeding. He just wants to put on a show.
Now, he wants to feed it out, and he's maybe just feeding off the pants right there. Look at that, going big.
Thank goodness he did not rip those pants. There's not much to those things.
No, not at all. They probably look flammable.
Oh! Look at that. This is not a run that's going to be scored. This is a run purely for style and entertainment.
Just showing off to the crowd there. Second last jump. Oh, look at how big he just went.
Flip whip just for kicks.
360 on that final jump. So Thomas Lemoyne, things not going well on that second run, but so much to come. All right, 10.25, that is what the judges say right there. But we saw him all weekend long. We saw him yesterday, Cam. He's not walking away empty-handed this weekend.
No way, man. The judges gave him a 10.25, but the crowd gave him way more than that.
No, that is right there. So we are getting into the nitty-gritty of our second run here. Thomas Lemoyne coming down, not going to plan there.
But he looked good. He had zebra pants.
Dude, I mean, I don't know where he got him. Fair enough, maybe he stole it from his sister or took him from a girlfriend.
This is what I'm wondering. He's one of the younger guys, and he's got this super outlandish style. I don't know. Is there some kid out there who's 12 right now going, I'm going to ride slopestyle with zebra pants? Are we going to see more of that in the future?
Well, maybe. Well, more of we're going to see in the future. We see Thomas Zeta right now. He is up there. He is hanging out. 8 Diamond Tour starts. What can he do here on run number 2? If I recall right, he had a pretty good first run, but he has so much room for improvement here with all the other competitors, and that bar got raised exponentially there at the end of run number 1.
There's a couple awesome bangers in his first run, but yeah, a couple of features where he maybe missed a trick, but that bar spin and tail up, he'll be looking to get the feet perfectly on the pedals on that one, because that's definitely the center point of that run, that bar spin and tail up. So if he can clean that up and get some of the tricks that he maybe missed before, he'll be looking pretty good.
Yeah, he will be looking pretty good there. So again, a little bit of the weight here on the wind. Normally the riders dropping in quick succession there, but we're giving them a little bit of time. They can drop in when they are comfortable here.
You can see the trees, they're moving. I would definitely be sitting there doing the same thing that Thomas Zeta is doing right now, just waiting for it to ease up. You see the lulls actually happen, so it's definitely worth the wait.
Moving and a grooving. There's a bunch of French fans in those trees there, as you found out the hard way the other day when you were going for a walk through the woods.
Yeah, it was more than a walk. I was going to go urinate in the woods, and I realized there's a whole crowd of people standing right there. I quickly aborted the mission.
Yeah. Pull out, pull out. Find another
or
tree.
Don't.
Yeah. Well, Thomas hanging out up there, waiting for that wind to come down. You can see the standings on your right-hand side. The only rider, though, in the 90s with a 93.25, Brett Rheeder. But the story is set. He is going to be the last rider dropping there. But we still got one more day here, Cam. Just because it is Saturday, just because it's slopestyle, tomorrow we have the downhill presented by IXS. That is where all the action will be happening there. The best downhillers in the world. Guys like G. Atherton, not just going for the 3-peat. He's trying to get 4. You guys got to tune in, crankworx.com. Look at the time zone, figure out what is going to work for you there. For all those on the west coast of North America, 5 a.m. That's going to be an early one, but the beauty is it'll be online. It'll be back on there
Yeah, set that alarm. You know, you don't want to miss that. Just because Saturday is slopestyle doesn't mean Sunday doesn't have an amazing show. Downhill, that's always a barn burner.
Well, you could get up, you could have a coffee, or you could crack up cold Red Bull. It's Thomas there hanging out, waiting for that wind to come down. We felt it in the booth here. It definitely kind of whistled through here, a pretty good size gust there.
Look at that. Look if he dips his head down. Look at that sticker. It's a cartoon of himself doing a huge Superman tail up. I want to see him do that on that second straight trick jump after the road gap.
So you keep talking, Cam, about Oppo. You say Oppo, but what is Oppo? What is that for the fans at home that maybe just tuning in for the first time, don't know the ins and outs of the sport?
Basically doing a directional trick your opposite and unnatural direction. To put it in terms that are a bit relatable, try signing your signature with your opposite hand and having it look close enough to perfect that, you know, they'll accept it on your credit card statement.
But you got to have those opposite tricks, right? Like if you don't have that in your repertoire, it's not going to go far. You're not going to do well, especially on a 12-hit course like this one here in France.
It's not necessarily a deal breaker because there are so many tricks that you can do on a mountain bike. You can do all the rotational stuff, and even if you're not going different directions, you could be like Nikolai Rogatkin, where you can spin on different axes. He'll do a cork 720 backwards, he'll do the cash roll, which is essentially a cork 720 forward, and he'll just add more tricks. If you can only tail up one way, he'll just do 3 of them in one jump.
Well, that is breaking it down for you guys there at home, what Oppo is, and that is not a deal breaker. There's so many tricks, so many combos. You still have so many options here. So again, we're just waiting on the wind to simmer down a little bit here. It's getting a little restless here on our second run. We knew it was probably going to come back at some point, and it's come back right now. But again, as soon as that dies down, we will get right back into the action.
Thomas is doing what's difficult right now. It's really hard to sit in the gate because 30 seconds feels like 30 seconds to us. It feels like hours to him, but it's smart. He's doing the difficult thing, but it is the smart thing, waiting it out.
Yeah, it's going to pay off in dividends because we know he had big tricks on that run, just slipping that pedal on that second last jump there in run number 1.
I never had the patience. I would sit up there and it would be windy and I just needed to go and I would drop at the worst time and get wind blown. But it's good to see the composure of these guys, man. The way the game has changed, you got to be patient all steps of the game.
Yeah, well, you're a man of your own breed there, Cam. You just wanted to ride your bike. You had more fun just being on the bike. Didn't matter what the conditions were around you, and that's why you were always so fun to watch in contests or videos or just even riding trails for that matter.
ADD and slopestyle don't go hand in hand too well, actually.
Where am I again?
What are we doing?
Yeah, hey, look, a pigeon. Well, you can see the course there. Perfection top to bottom. And it's just a blank canvas for all the riders to do what they want to do on it, to try and impress those judges. But as you can see there, if you guys are missing out, maybe you want to check out from the action from earlier on today, you guys can check out Brett Rheeder's run. You can check out Semenuk's run here, because you can click on the exact spots, log in, go online, Red Bull TV there, and you can share it online. There's nothing better. Hey, what happened here? This is what's going on. This is what I'm watching.
That's a perfect way to absorb the event, the way it's shaking down today, because you don't want to sit through watch all these wind delays. When you've got this viewer, you can just click right to exactly what you want to watch.
Yeah, all killer, no filler on that one. You can see the trees there. They're moving, the leaves blowing in the wind there. As we're waiting to see if he is going to be dropping in here soon while we have a wind hold at the moment.
No, you didn't just accidentally change the channel to National Geographic. That's just a shot of a tree to show you the wind.
Well, there you go. You can see the judges. They're hanging out, waiting patiently, watching things on the screen there so they don't miss a single move. They're about halfway down the course there. But let's check out some highlights. This is Brett Rheeder's winning run from number 1 here.
Yes. Opposite tail up. See, look at that. That was the epitome of signing a signature with your opposite hand and making it look right. That opposite tail up did not look opposite, and it was on the most difficult obstacle to trick on the course. Speaking of opposite, backflip, opposite tail up. Tail up in the bike, the unnatural direction while doing a backflip.
Couldn't even tell, dude. Couldn't even tell that it was opposite there. And that's what you need, though. That is why he is in that number 1 spot.
You know what's awesome is he had quite a gnarly injury here a couple years ago, and it was on a backflip opposite tail up. Fast.
Well, here we go. Thomas Zeta dropping in right now, getting the bar spin.
There we go. He was not affected by the wind on that first feature, but it was the smallest feature on the course. Bar spin to X up, changing things up. 360 tail up. Doing a couple adjustments to his first run, but also going back to the bangers that served him well. Oh, there we go. Thomas Zeta style with a 360 bar spin to click tabletop. What's he got on the road gap? X up again, same thing he did in his first run. And here's where we see that straight tail up. That's where he's most vulnerable to the wind. And you can see he got a little bit sideways, missed the pedal just slightly, but he recovered perfectly for that off-axis backflip on the spine. Coming into the whale tail, bar spin up, 360 down. And this is where we want to see that bar spin to tail from Thomas Zeta. He's changing it up. He's going straight tail up, just trying to get to the bottom of the course, get a score in the bag. Last step down, straight air, but he's through the finish line.
Thomas Zeta, he is a tall man, acting like a bit of a sail out there when he starts moving around on the bike, but he made it down clean on run number 2. We're going to see a definite improvement on his score and his position. Where is that going to stack him up, though? That is what we were waiting for from our judges. But let's go back up top here. Just going with the X up over the road gap, playing it safe, Cam.
You know that the wind was really messing with his head. He sat up there for so long, and he made some improvisations to his run, where we saw him do the bar spin to tail up. Instead, he just went straight for the tail up and not tricking the last step down, just because he knows that wind is a factor. As soon as that wind gets in your head, it's really tough to get it out of there.
Waiting on the score there. There we go. First run score is going to stick the 36.25. Good enough for 16th spot here overall.
Yeah, they definitely, you could tell they rewarded him for the bar spin to tail up in that first run, because he actually made it through the whole course on the second run, but he didn't improve the score.
Yeah, did not improve at all. So a few points down.
Ooh,
well,
yeah.
This guy is going to need to improve. One of your training partners, a guy you see on a regular basis from the good old US of A, Carson Storch.
Straight out of Bend, Oregon. The first slopestyle rider just kind of hailing from Bend, Oregon. A lot of us have moved there, but he's born and bred. We've got a bit of a slopestyle course going now that he's able to practice on. And he's been pulling out all the stops in training recently.
Well, he's got 2 great mentors. He's got yourself now that you're a resident and calling yourself a local there in Bend. He's also got Kurt Vorez, who has been living down there forever in the day, teaching him all the tricks of the trade, because we used to see Kurt all the time here way back in the early years of slopestyle.
Kurt was my idol. He was the first guy to kind of just start doing slopestyle stuff before it was even a sport.
Well, he was a bad dude. He hang out with Palmer, but this is another bad dude. Carson Storch coming in on his final run.
Oh, you can see how skinny that thing is from that perspective. 360 in that tiny little drop. Tail up in, going for the opposite 360 out. Keeping things rolling with the flat spin regular 450.
So dialed.
Right into the trick jump. He's got that 3 up once again, stomping it clean in his second run, just as he did in the first. And this road gap, he chucked the tail up before. He chucks it again, but this time he gets perfect pedals. You know he wanted more on this jump before. He's got the flip whip now. Wow.
Yes, he's getting it. He's getting it.
This is exactly what he was envisioning in his head before he dropped in for this run. Wow, the 360 inward table. Up into the whale tail, 360 off, carrying speed into the final section of the course. Opposite 360 downside tail. Oh, this time coming up short.
No, it's not how it's supposed to end.
Oh, man. The complimentary tricks in that run, having the regular 360 tail up top and the Oppo 3 down whip down here, but the wind whipped him in the wrong direction. But he's going to put on a show for the crowd. Hey, why not?
You got to give it up for this guy, Carson Storch. Up and coming and always full of fun.
Oh, flipping it with barely any speed, starting from a standstill. Man, it's a bummer he wasn't able to get that full run through the finish line, but he's really shown that he's upped his game the last year, and he's here to play.
He is showing that he's ready to be a contender, Cam, but let's go up top. Look at this, changing things up. Getting the tail whip right there.
And you would never know that was an opposite spin, but it was. And you can tell because he spun his natural direction, going 450, slightly over 360 because it's a hip jump.
Dumping it in on that as well.
Making that look so easy. Tricking that road gap is so tough. And he wasn't able to do the flip whip in the first run, but he landed it perfect here in the second. One thing that didn't go perfect was that opposite 360 down whip, just sliding out. I was really hoping he was able to kind of sit on the seat and keep his momentum, but tires broke traction and that was it.
Yeah, Carson Storch got a smile on his face. He is healthy, he is happy.
He actually got stitches earlier today after a crash in practice, so he's been pushing through the pain and just making it happen.
You know, he is going to be even hungrier at the next round of the World Tour here for Crankworx.
Yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg for what Carson Storch will be bringing here in 2015.
Very cool to see him start to progress here in the last couple of years. You can't wait to see what he can do here when he finally links one up. For the judges hanging out, they're writing down their scores, ready to put it into the computer here. Oh, and he comes in with a 48.25, so improving on run number 1, Cam. He's in that top 15.
Fourth place is obviously not what he wanted coming into this event, but it's all about the points. You got to stay on the Diamond Tour. You don't just get a blanket invite for the whole season.
Nope.
Get those points. Every event matters because you want to be invited to the next one.
Consistency is key if you want to keep on that tour. It's kind of exclusive. You can get kicked out if you're not performing your end of the bargain. Well, here we go. Louis Rebaud coming down earlier on. He had a 47.75. You know he's going to want to clean that up here on run number 2.
Louis Rebaud is doing some really unique tricks in the first run. Let's see if he goes for that cannonball again, stepping up into this small whale tail. And he does, taking the feet off, grabbing the seat with both hands, spinning the opposite way out of that whale tail, getting the tail whip, moving right along to the first trickable straight jump. Backflip tail whip, perfect, carrying the momentum into that road gap. He was going for the tuck no-hander, but that thing is so tough to trick, especially in the wind. Didn't get it, but that's a classic Louis Rebaud move right there. Going under flip on that cork 360. There we go, getting the regular 360 bar spin on the spine, tuck no-hander up, backflip down.
It's coming together, Cam. He's coming together on this one.
Ooh, transferring that backflip tuck no-hander, moving so far to the right of the landing. And last jump, backflip tabletop. A little bit better than a straight backflip. Throwing the bike sideways a bit. You need to do something in that backflip, and Louis Rebaud did.
Throwing it down. Louis Rebaud cleaning things up there. And we saw it in DS&S. You got to have the style. Even just a little table with that backflip, that can go a long way with the judges. Let's jump back up to the top of the course there.
Actually, my favorite part of the run right there is the cannonball. Really tough to do in the wind, tough to do in that step up as well. He's spinning both directions like we've seen a few of the riders do. Judges always take note on that.
Yeah, they know the ins and outs of the riders. They stay up to date with what they are doing. Good extension there on that tuck no-hander, and then coming down into that.
Man, his flip tuck no-handers have more extension than most. His hands are almost going backwards. Kind of like the suicide style, but he's got his bars in his lap to keep the bike connected to the body.
So getting a little off kilter there. Not a huge table on that one, but is that going to be something the judges notice and they reward him for here?
You know, a smooth run all the way through to the finish corral is big, and he definitely learned from the way the judges are doing things, tried to throw variations in where he could, and let's see if he can improve upon that first run score.
Yeah, working through the conditions. 55.50, an improvement on run number 1, but only good enough for 13th place right there.
Once again, it's all about getting those points, staying on the Diamond Series. Every run counts, every point counts. You want to stay alive in the Tour.
Well, this guy, he's only got a few Diamond starts here on the FMB Tour. You got first back in 2012 at the Teva Best Trick, Tom Van Steenbergen.
Man, do you remember what he did first feature right out of the gate last run?
He threw down, dude, and let's see if he throws down here on his second run, and he does it!
He has the front flip again, landing so hard. The forward momentum is so tough to slow down on those front flips. Tuck no-hander to toboggan, touching the seat, 360 out of the whale tail. Getting the tail smooth on the hip. Going straight 360, he would have needed a variation on that, but the name of the game is continuing on, getting a full run. The road gap, he gets his hands off, not by a ton. But it's, oh,
another front flip.
Front flip landing so smooth on that massive jump. That's the biggest jump on the course, and he front flips in. He actually has the world record for the longest front flip on a mountain bike. Bar spin into the whale tail, back flip out, hold things together. I know he wants a pretty mean combo on this jump. Let's see if he can get it. Tail whip, trying to get a trick afterwards, but just keeping it smooth. One last feature. Tom Van Steenbergen flipping into the finish corral.
Keeping it Mr. Clean there on run number 2 and keeping it clean from top to bottom there. Tom Van Steenbergen, dude, those front flips. It's insane what he is doing there off the first drop.
That first one, we're not gonna see it again, but he landed so hard. He's flipping forward as fast as he can just to get it around. You know, he had all these smooth tricks on the middle of the course, but hopefully we get a chance to see that huge boosted front flip after the road gap. He did get the hands off, and then on this front flip, look how high he went. It's so difficult to time the rotation, but he didn't even head bob on that thing, landed perfect rotation, perfect spot on the landing. tail whip on the second to last feature and finishing it off with a smooth backflip. No variation, but he's in the finish corral.
Yeah, the Mini Flip Monday innovator there. Check him out on the Instagram. That is, you don't want to miss those things. So cool there.
He's the king of mini flips, king of mega flips. He will flip anything.
Big or small, he's got it all. But let's see what he has here from the judges, a 55. So improving on his first run there, jumping up into 14th, but not making an impact on that top 10 there, Cam.
There used to be
enough.
a case where if you did one front flip in a run, there were so few people doing it that it would be such a huge factor in your run. But you know, you had 2 of them, and he's sitting way down there on the leaderboard.
Well, we're in the heart of run number 2 here in our finals for slopestyle. You see Canadian 1, 2, 3. Well, that was your leaderboard right there. Your surprise pick, he's still up there in that top 10, Mehdi Gandhi.
I'm pretty pumped on that. You know, that was the ringer. I like to kind of pick somebody that's unlikely, and the fact that he's still sitting in the top 10, I'm glad he didn't make a liar out of me.
Well, this is a guy right here I could watch for hours on end. Paul Genovese, such great style, so many tricks, and he's just kind of scratching away at the surface of what he is capable here of on the FMB Diamond Tour, Cam.
Paul Genovese looks like a video game when he's going down the course, and he doesn't run a detangler. He has those cables. He's doing all the bars and whips and has to keep track of them so he doesn't get too wound up.
Well, what has he got for us here on run number 2?
He does have a bar spin off that first flat drop, and it won't be the first time you see those bar spin. Tuck no hander to bar spin, a 360 bar spin out of that whale tail. Getting that tail whip, rewinding the bars, straight into the backflip bar spin. Whoa, looks like he may have slipped a pedal a little bit there.
Slipping a pedal on that one.
That's such a tough angle to see what happened, but it looked like he was going for the backflip bar spin. And sometimes when you do that trick, your feet kind of levitate off the pedals. That may have been why he had to stop right there.
That will be a deal breaker in the big picture with the judges, Cam. But you know what? He wants to finish it out for you here, France, and he wants to do the run top to bottom.
Paul's got some real big, boosty, stylish tricks, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Superman C-grab Indian airs for the crowd right now. His run score is going to be a wash because of that bobble. But, you know, the wind is blowing so hard right now, just getting it down to the bottom is probably his main focus. Nope, backflip, 1-footed X up on the step down. He's still charging.
Throwing the combo,
double whip.
Getting the double.
Oh, man, he's thinking about those points right now. It ain't over till it's over. Oh, flip bar down. Instant redemption. The trick that he messed up at the top of the course, he gets on the step down at the bottom.
Locking it in there. Cam, you said it. He doesn't have that gyro on there. So he has to be very careful which way the bars are going, which way the bike's going to go on all those combos there, the bar spins and those tail whips.
Like I said before, ADD and slopestyle, not a good combo. Luckily, he's not afflicted. Oh, it was a backflip double bar spin. Now that we have that other camera angle, it's easier to see. That's why he slipped up. He was fitting another bar spin in that backflip on that first double.
I'll take a double bar combo to go, please.
Sounds tasty. And I thought he was just going to cruise her into the finish line, but he's thinking about the points.
No, exactly there. So 33.50, only good enough for 12th position there, but he's after the points. He wants to stay on this tour, the Diamond Tour for the FMB. Well, here we go. We are getting into the final bit of our second runs here. There is your leaderboard. Brett Rheeder out in front, Cam. Not by a point or two, quite a few points at that.
By 4 points, man. It seems like it was so long ago that we saw Brett and Brandon's run, and you kind of forget that they're still yet to go. We have a ridiculous show still ahead of us.
Yeah, well, Mitch Chubby, he was an alternate until this morning. He got the call, come off the bench, kid. You are in the big show. He put together a solid on run number 1. He needs to clean that up here on run number 2 and do Canada proud.
He's got that detangler, the math killer, so he doesn't have to calculate like Paul was doing there, thinking about the bars and tail whips. And he made it in as an alternate, so he's just excited to be here. He had to do some last-minute practice to put a run together. And let's see if he can stomp this second one.
He's waiting on a little bit of wind here, trying to get it to calm down. You can see on the left-hand side underneath his name there, those are the riders still to come up. So the big names there, but Mitch Chubby dropping in on his second and final run.
Mitch Chubby, a late entry off the alternate list, but no stranger to slopestyle competition, been doing it forever. Backflip into the whale tail, a 360 out, getting things started off on the right foot. Tail up on the hip, Coming into the trick jump, what's it gonna be? Backflip tail whip, and he lands it perfect. Man, that's just a textbook maneuver everybody's throwing out right now. Tuck no hander on the road gap. He's got another straight trick jump ahead of him. Love the style on that. Superman seat grab and tricking the hip with an alley-oop 270 going into the opposite 360.
That could pay off with the judges.
It's always important to spin both directions. Mitch Truby, one of the ambi turners in our field here, not afraid to go the other way. Backflip bar spin on the second to last feature of the course. He's got one more to nail it.
Is it
Flip
clean?
whip on the step down. Oh man, he lands it. Oh, I did not see that coming.
Flip whip on that step down. Are you kidding me?
He ended that one with a bang. I was not expecting the backflip tail up on the step down out of Mitch Truby. I've seen him do it before, but I hadn't seen him do it yet today.
Not getting it 100% clean, but you got to think that could be an improvement on his first run score there. The boys are giving him a high five. But look at this here, getting the extension there on that first in and then getting the 3 out of that cam.
Yeah, he woke up this morning not even thinking he was going to be in this competition, but grabbed his bike just in case somebody pulled out. He ended up getting into the main show, and look at that style on that Superman seat grab Indian Air, crossing the legs up, getting the flip bar on the second to last jump so he could save the banger for the last one. Going for a flip whip on a step down. He had 2 flip whips in that run, but one of them was on a step down, so not technically a repeat, because doing it on a different obstacle is almost like doing a different trick sometimes.
An all different trick altogether. Looking relieved. His day in the office is done. He's just waiting for the paperwork to come through and see what those results will put him there. Is it going to be improvement on score number 1? Or is he going to be staying where he is at? The judges hold the key to that. And there you go, an improvement, 63.50. So close to a top 10, 11th spot there, Cam.
Look at that, though, a point higher than his run in the first round, so he's got to be stoked.
You got to be happy. He was not even on the list until this morning. But that is the game here. And the game is going to get set and reset here. You're defending Les des Alpes champion, Anthony Messere. It is his turn here to do good and try and clean that run up and get into the top step of the box there.
Anthony Messere has great history here. A year ago, he was the man standing on the top step of the podium. He's trying to do it again with a tail up off the first drop. Coming right in with a backflip bar spin into the small whale tail, getting that double truck once again out. It's a 360 with 2 bar spins. That second bar spin is the one that's really gonna up his score. Front flip tuck no hander on that trick jump.
You are kidding me.
He's adding a little bit to each trick that he had before, getting the tail up on the road gap. Backflip tail whip where he wasn't able to do before. Perfect to pedals. He's adding the spice that he needed to up that first run score. 360 tail once again, a small foot tap, but he's still on track. Bar spin up into the big whale tail, flip down, and what is he gonna have out of this railing
He's
curve?
cleaning it up.
Oh, a classic Anthony Messere boost. One last feature, will he have a variation? Backflip tail up on the step down.
Oh, you're kidding me! He lands it!
Yes!
Oh my God! Oh, tricking across the line there! Are you kidding me? Anthony Messere!
We were talking about how people are tricking features that aren't even features. That was a speed bump. Oh man, people are going nuts right now.
This is ridiculous, Cam.
Nobody saw that coming. I mean, I would have just been pumped to stomp the flip whip, but he was thinking, all right, feedback on the pedals, chuck the bars off this speed bump.
Again, let's go back up top. Look at that, boosting into the whale tail there and getting the combos.
Backflip bar spin, a 360 with 2 bar spins out, a smooth tail up on the hip, and then he did do the front flip tuck no hander. We have that second angle where you can get a great look at it. And just adding those variations in are gonna improve his score so much, and doing something that nobody expected, bar spinning on that speed bump at the bottom of the course. And that's just classic. An Anthony Messere run wouldn't be complete without a huge boosted flat spin 360. Here's where it happened though. Backflip tail up on the step down, look at this. Let's hold on to him here right here and see if we can watch him toss the bars where nobody expected him to. Look at this. Oh my God. Oh, he wanted more course. He's like, 12 features is not enough. Give me 13.
That is insane. You can tell he was letting the course come to him. Run number 1 seemed really pushed, not letting things happen naturally.
He's got to be in shape too. Usually you get a little bit of arm pump after holding on to the bars, doing all those tricks, but to chuck him down there at the bottom shows he's been working on some fitness.
Now he's got his push-up game strong there. Waiting on the judges' game here.
Look at that buffed little muscle hamster.
That is Anthony Messere. What is it gonna come through as? What is that score gonna say? 84.00, fourth place! Getting
Nice
up,
work.
improving that run from number 1. Let's go down and chat with Tina and Anthony Messere.
You had some huge tricks, a lot of variation, but what was going through your mind here at the end, especially through that run? I mean, you surprised everyone.
You know, well, I just wanted to make myself happy, you know. Top of the run, I wasn't really feeling too much pressure, to be honest with you. Just felt like I was riding with my friends. And just stoked, you know. Felt good, and when you have no pressure, it's easy to ride, so.
Well, yeah, guys, and Anthony put on a show for us, especially down here in the corral.
Well, thank you very much, Tina. Again, bar spinning across the finish line. No biggie.
What is
no
it
biggie.
about Les Deux Alpes where Anthony Messere is just on here? It's the longest, most challenging course. And, you know, he does have a tendency to have mistakes. We saw him mess up in Rotorua. But when he stomps his run, it's always a contender for the top 5. And right there, just feeling like even though this course is challenging because it's long, he wants it to be longer.
Well, Canada, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cam, I'm sorry. I am sorry, there is no American in that top 8 right there. Canada sweeping 1 through 4 right now, but there is still lots of riders to come here on their second and final run. There's some Americans that are gonna try and mix it up here.
Oh, here's
but
my
here
guy,
is your
Tristan.
wild, man. Here is your wild pick, Medigani. He came in here. He is in 9th place right now. You know he's gonna wanna step up that game and step up higher into the overall.
He's hanging on to that top 10. He was my ringer, because I know what he has in his bag, but he's never really been on this stage before, the Diamond Series, and so it's really excited to see him put together his first run. But was he saving anything for a second? I know he has so much in that bag, but what's he going to show the world here right now?
What does he have for us? He's dropping in right now, Medigani.
Medigani out of France. He's got the local crowd behind him with a bar spin on that first feature, going flip bar up, painting the line close to the edge there, 360 bar spin down. Tail up, he looks composed. This may be his first diamond start, but he's calm, cool, collected, sending huge tricks like a backflip tuck no-hander.
Yes!
Coming into the road gap, the most difficult feature to trick on the course, getting a smooth tuck no-hander looking like no problem. Backflip bar spin to tuck no-hander. I told you, he's got combos. He's upping his run, adding some more sauce. Transferring so far once again on that spine with the corked out flip, tuck no-hander up, backflip tuck no-hander down. That's massive. Oh, if he can hold it together, he's definitely going to improve his score. Backflip tail up, get it.
No way.
He had his pedals for days before the landing. One last feature. Backflip bar spin,
He
Medigani.
does it.
Yeah.
He does the unthinkable.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, I knew he had it in him. This guy has had to overcome so many injuries over the past few years. He gets so close to being on this Diamond Tour stage, but then something happens. He's here now, and he's stomping runs.
First FMB Diamond start, and the guy throws together. Look at this run right out of the gate up top.
Man, he was hanging on, almost going off the edge of that first small whale tail, but getting the flip bar in, 360 bar out. Keeping her smooth with the tail up, getting a trick on absolutely everything, even the road gap with that tuck no-hander. Great extension on that, by the way. And then he used that great extension when he did the backflip bar spin and tuck no-hander, the trick that helped Rheeder win Rotorua. Medigani has that one as well. On the theme of tricking everything, even getting the hands off, going up the whale tail and flip tuck no-hander down. So tough to do with such a short lip. Backflip tail up, and he needed a flip variation. He knew it. He's a smart competitor, and he got that flip bar spin to finish it off right.
Wow, Cam, I am on the edge of my seat. That was crazy. That was insane.
Well, he was hanging on to the top 10, sitting in 9th before. I have a feeling he's going to up his score, but will move him up the leaderboard.
Is this going to make anything difference with the Canadians? Waiting on that score right there, Medigani. 83.25,
nice.
good enough for
look
5th
at
position.
That. He is so stoked. He saw that 9, he was like, I don't like that. When the 5 popped up, did you see his eyes just go boom? I'm in 5th place.
I am in 5th place. It is my first time here at the FMB Diamond Tour. Wow, wow, and wow. All right, again, looking at the scenics all around us here. I ain't looking at any of those mountains. I am looking at what is happening on the course. Medigani popping up into 5th position there. Cam, you picked it. You picked it at the start of the week. Man. He is coming through in the clinch there. Man, we should have made some bets because you'd be a rich guy right now.
Oh, I'm so glad I picked him. I'm always rooting for him, but something always happens. So to see him pull it off, and I'm like, all right, I happened to say that. That's good. I got lucky on this one.
Well, coming in next, he got 3rd here last year. Sam Reynolds dropping in.
Sam Reynolds, bar spin off the top. Coming right into the small whale tail. Flip, tuck, no hander. Getting the variations. Tail whip right down. Sam Reynolds was standing on the podium here last year. He wants to do it again. He has the tricks to do so. Let's see if he can hold on. Cork 720.
Oh!
Man, is that the trick of the year or what? Everybody throwing it down on that jump.
So hot right now.
Tuck no hander on the road gap. Coming into where he did the nothing can before. Once again, feet alongside the bike, hands off, just floating. Luckily didn't get wind blown on that. So vulnerable, being completely separated from the bike. Going into whale tail, missing the no hander, but no big deal. Keep it rolling with the backflip out. Sam Reynolds coming right out of that berm, going double down. Oh no!
Oh, losing control, throwing the bike out.
He's all good though. He got a little bit separated from the bike there in that double tail, but he's all smiles.
One of the best smiles in the game there, Sam Reynolds going down there on that trick. But oh my God, giving a wave to the fans, giving a wave to the French crowd. All right, Sam Reynolds. That crash there means run number 1 is what he's gonna have to stick with there. 36.75, good enough for 9th. He is a top 10, not like last year's 3rd, but still solid results, solid points in that big picture, Cam.
It's a good thing he's not acting angry right now because I feel like it's impossible to be angry when you're wearing 80s shades.
No, not at all. You gotta be stoked. There we go, looking at that. A couple French riders up in there, Medigani, Yannick Granieri. We saw them drop in earlier, but hold on a second. It's hammer time. It is Sam Pilgrim, and he is ready to throw down on his 2nd run.
It's Sammer time. We had Sam Reynolds going down with the RoboCop sunglasses. Now we got Pilgrim right here with less than all of his teeth. Boom, 360 started things off on that skinny, tiny little drop. So technical. Backflip bar spin in to the small whale tail, 360 tail up out. So much going on in this run. Getting inverted on that 270 table. Getting that Cork 720. Sam Pilgrim is on a heater. He's had a history with this road gap. He gets the backflip table this time. Redemption from a few years ago. Backflip tail up, catching so early. Taking a breather right here, making sure he knows he's got a few more opportunities for tricks. He wants to make them count. Whale tail up, tuck no hander, down, flip with a little bit of a table. Railing speed out of that berm. And he's got a backflip Superman going super high in the air. What's it gonna be on the step down? Backflip, tuck no hander.
He gets it, Sam Pilgrim linking it up, Cam.
He said he had more in the tank, and there we go. He added some more sauce to the run that he had for the first round. Should be able to up his score.
Hammer time just finished there, and he threw it top to bottom on that one. Sam and Sam giving each other a hug. Sam Pilgrim looking at this run. Great combinations right out of the start gate.
Flip bar up in, 360 tail whip out, making it all look so clean. Getting that 360 click table with the Alpes in the background. Somebody snap a photo of that, please. Cork 720, the trick of the year. Landing it like it's the easiest trick ever, but it's not. It's the hottest trick.
No, it is so 2015 right now.
Backflip tuck no hander on the step down. Getting the variation on the step down. The judges love it. Let's see what number they assign to that run.
I am very intrigued to see what will happen here. What are the judges gonna say?
And Sam Pilgrim made it right into the finish crowd before that huge wind gust. We're hoping that it slows down before the next rider.
Waiting on the judges right here. What are they gonna say? That toothless grin. Even with after all his podiums, he still hasn't gotten that tooth fixed.
You know, it's because he likes it.
It's just part of his flair there. He's always got the guns out. He's always got the tooth missing.
Some people wear zebra pants. Some people have no teeth.
So the judges are debating right now, punching in the numbers. They're looking at things there. Here we go, getting that entered in. What is it going to do, though, for Sam Pilgrim? What is it going to do? Anxiously waiting right here.
I think he's expecting an improvement, but the question is, how much of an improvement? Enough to move him up into the top 5? What's it going to be?
Yeah, what is it going to be here? The British rider, Sam Pilgrim, 84.75, fourth spot, Cam.
It is enough to move him into the top 5.
Top 5, great to see him coming back here after all things that happened last year. But you're 1, 2, 3, 4 there, still looking good on that.
Well, his strategy paid off. He had a bit of a safety run and then added some extra stuff to the second one, and boom, there you go. He improved his score.
Well, we have a few riders left. We have 3 riders left. Tommy G, Brett Rheeder, and Brandon Semenuk. The question is, what order are they gonna finish in here, Cam?
Oh.
That is where it is at. Tommy G dropping in.
The drama, Tristan, setting it up. 360 off the top drop, backflip tuck no hander into the small whale tail. 360 tuck no hander going identical to his first run. This looks like a carbon copy, so smooth. This guy is ridiculously precise. Getting that Cork 720, coming up a little short, but not even slipping a pedal. He's still on track. The road gap, he tail ups it once again, avoids the wind, and goes right into the backflip. Bar spin and tuck no hander, so late on that, but squeaking it in at the last second. On the spine, oh! Downside 360 tail up, looking like a decade. Suicide up, bringing it back to the old school in a 360 with a click table going down off the whale tail. He's got 2 more features for you. 360 bar spin to tuck no hander. He has combos for days right now. Can he get the double whip again?
Oh, he gets it, double whip across the line.
That's such a banger, but he made it look so easy.
Looking like Tommy G was on autopilot there, top to bottom. Not even really smiling much there, no emotion.
That's honestly how he was when he won Joyride a few years ago. He is so calm, cool, collected. That's just another day at the office for Tommy G.
So much emotion from him after run number 1. Looking at the combos here, carbon copy in run number 2.
He seriously is a robot. The backflip tuck no hander up, 360 tuck no hander down. I swear we're watching a replay from the first run, but he's just that dialed. Tail up in that road gap, avoiding the wind, getting the flip bar spin, and squeaking out that tuck no hander at the last second. That no hander can mean so much on both those variations, the flip bar to tuck and the 3 bar to tuck.
It can be a deal breaker, Cam. That can be a deal breaker for sure.
Could be a deal maker for Thomas Genon right now.
Well, we're gonna have to see here what they say. Carbon copy run, an improvement, but how much of an improvement will it be?
Well, some of those combos, man, were quite a big improvement.
Here we go. What are they gonna say? An 88! Good enough for 3rd spot!
There's the smile. Look at that. He was not satisfied, even though his first run was so awesome. He had more.
Yeah, Tommy G right there. Well, it is here. It is now. You have to be online. You have to be here in France to take it all in. Cam, Brandon Semenuk, second last rider. He has to play it all out. He has to put all his cards on the table if he wants to take the win here today and stop Brett Rheeder in his quest for the Triple Crown.
Oh my goodness, one of the most dramatic moments we've seen in the history of slopestyle here. 2015, we have the Crankworx Triple Crown. Can Brandon Semenuk swipe it out from under Brett Rheeder?
Well, Brett Rheeder, the only rider to beat Semenuk ever if Semenuk lands his runs top to bottom. We saw it at X Games. We saw it at Bear Claw Invitational. You know that did not sit well with Semenuk right there. He's going to want redemption, and he's not going to walk away with anything other than first in his own eyes there.
Brandon Semenuk does not like to lose. He does not like to see a 2 next to his name. He's going to do whatever he can to get that number 1 next to his name.
It all begins right now. Brandon Semenuk.
Flat drop backflip off the first tiny little drop. 360 tail up in. Will he transfer? No, he lands perfect. Missing the bar spin on the Oppo 3, but that's okay. He's got more in the tank. Getting the opposite tail whip on the hip. Not even pedaling in that burp. Carrying the speed. Backflip, double tail whip. Going long once again, but holding it together. Just having fun on the course. Nose manual on the roller. Backflip on the road gap, landing perfectly smooth. Cork 720.
Yes!
Oh man, he's looking like he's on fire right now. On the spine, backflip, bar spin to one-footed can-can, squeaking out the variations. Tail up, the whale tail, 360 bar spin down. Oh man, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. Brendan Semenuk, 360 bar spin on the second to last jump. He's not gonna call it quits, is he? Oh, Brandon.
He is not happy with himself here. He did not get the combo. Cam,
Wow.
I don't even know what to say on that.
Wow.
He didn't get what he
Oh my
was
God.
after.
Look at Brett's face right now. Brandon knew exactly what he needed to do. And when he missed the combo that he was going for on that second to last double jump, he just pulled the plug. He knew that the run that Brett had was so high, he would have needed to land a perfect run to take him. And as soon as he messed up, he knew it didn't happen.
Well, let's see what the judges say on that. Not enough means his first run sticks, which means one thing only, Cam. That means Brett Rheeder is still in your #1 spot, which means he is on his quest to the Triple Crown.
Let's listen to him.
But he stopped for whatever reason. I didn't know why, and that leaves me in first.
I think it was about 40 years since a horse won the Triple Crown. It doesn't happen very often. Is a human going to do it this year? It's so unlikely.
Look at the emotion in his eyes there. It is like the student is becoming the master, Cam. That means 2 in a row here.
Oh my gosh, he's soaked up the victory lap in Rotorua. He's gonna soak it up. It's gonna feel so good here in Les Deux Alpes. I cannot believe that he did it. I knew he had it in him.
Breathe it all in. I'm just going to throw it back casually. This is not a victory lap. He's still tricking things.
Oh, I remember Sean White used to do this. When he would win a contest, he would drop in and still do all the tricks. Brett Rheeder just rejoicing in the glory right now. He won the second stop of the Crankworx Triple Crown. And he overcame his demons. He had such a hard time here in the past at Les Deux Alpes. But right now, he's doing another victory lap. He triumphed over Brandon Semenuk, something that is so hard to do in any free ride discipline.
Look at that there, comboing on the way down, showing that he has the skills to pay the bills. Fist pump for the victory.
So awesome. Congratulations to Brett Rheeder.
Oh my gosh, what a victory lap at that.
So much style, getting to do the tricks that he wouldn't do in a run, but the ones that are so Brett Rheeder, putting his staple style into that run.
What can you say to that? Brett Rheeder winning Crankworx Les Deux Alpes in convincing fashion here today.
I'm so pumped for this kid, man. He works so hard, and trying to win in the era where Brandon Semenuk is dominant is such an uphill battle, but he's doing it.
Well, let's go down and have a chat with our winner right now.
2 Crankworx events, 2 slopestyle competitions, 2 victory laps for you, and now 2 wins. But how would you describe this second win?
I don't know. Again, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to feel. I was pretty much committed to going to the top again. If Brandon had landed that, it would have bumped me down, and I would have had to do another. So I'm still shaking. I don't know. It just seems unreal.
You can't put into words to it, but you did show us on the course because you had that arm pump out there.
For sure. So happy.
Well, how do you keep this momentum going? We have the next stop, Crankworx in Whistler.
Well, I guess I'm going to go home and work my ass off. Yes. More, again. Yeah, just practice, have fun.
Well, right now the hard work is paying off. Congratulations on this huge win. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Tina. Again, congratulations to Brett Rheeder. And he said it there. He's got some work to do. He's got to work his ass off. This is the guy. He's doing the unthinkable here in the Crankworx World Tour. But let's check out his winning run here from run number 1.
Oh, it's so exciting to see Brett Rheeder have the formula figured out to winning these competitions. flipping that flat drop. Only him and Brandon Semenuk were doing that, going opposite tail up on the road gap, making it look like a regular one, the most difficult feature on the course to trick. And then, of course, the trick of the year, the Cork 720. And then the one that helped him win Rotorua, that's his trick for this year, the backflip bar spin to tuck no-hander. And then coming out of left field, going backflip opposite tail on the step down. I don't know if anybody expected that to happen. He would traditionally do that on the jump, then the normal flip whip on the step down, but he's constantly progressing. He said he goes home and works, and obviously he did his homework before this event.
He has done his homework. Cam, I think we are in the year of the Rheeder. It is his time, and his time is right now. Taking that win there, looking at the leaderboard, 1, 2, 3. Congratulations to Tommy G taking that bronze medal. Silver going to Semenuk, and you know what? That is not going to sit well. That means that Brett Rheeder has jumped into the lead in terms of overall diamond stop wins forever. He has got 5 of them now.
Can you believe that he's still alive in the Crankworx Slopestyle Triple Crown too? I mean, the horse did it this year. Is Brett going to be the horse?
It is crazy to think about that. The brainchild in the offseason, we unveiled it down in Rotorua, and now Brett is doing the unthinkable there. He has the 2 wins. Look at that, 300 points, perfect across the board. One more event, though, later on this summer for him to complete that trifecta.
Man, these guys are going to be gunning for him. He truly, if he didn't have a target on his back before, he really has one on it now because he's 2/3 of the way there. Thomas Genon continuing with his consistency, and Nikolai Rogatkin, of course, pulling out the stops like we expect him to.
Something tells me we're going to have to book him for interviews right now if we want to speak to him in Whistler there, because he is going to be controlling all his time. Well, Cam, wow, that played out, and that played out to its full extent.
What a dramatic day, dude. And to think that that was the 2nd stop out of 3, I can't wait for Whistler. It's coming at you 6th through the 17th of August. That's only a month away. It's definitely going to be a banger.
Mark it on your calendars. You're not going to want to miss out. Crankworx.com, that is where everything is going to get recapped, and that is where we'll be coming from when we get back to where it all began 11 years ago in Whistler.
Yeah.
All right, so our fans hanging out. Cam, sum things up here in a few words for everybody at home there.
Well, Crankworx is always full of drama. There's never been a canceled Crankworx Slopestyle. It's been so close so many times, but here today we thought maybe it would get canceled because it was windy. But the guys are gladiators. They did whatever it took to put on a show here today. And in true Crankworx fashion, we had a ridiculous competition. That's only 2 out of 3. We got Whistler coming up next month.
Well, you guys tuned in. You saw all the action here. It did not disappoint for all of us here at Crankworx. Myself, Tristan Merrick, Cam McCall, Tina Dixon. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully it did not disappoint, and we cannot wait to see you come Crankworx Whistler. Make sure you guys check out all the action. We'll see you in August.